Hello, hello. Good evening, good morning, good whatever it is for you guys out there. We're back. We were discussing this on Mondays. Got Requip here with me.
Because it's 9 o'clock in the afternoon.
Not everywhere.
Somewhere. Well,
Yeah.
but somewhere.
Yes. Somewhere. Somewhere.
It's 9 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, it can be somewhere. Yeah. I don't judge. Like, we have random viewers. Anyways, we got a lot to talk about tonight. If you want to give them a sneak little preview real quick.
Yeah, I'm actually getting something set up on my end. One sec. Just because this is important when I'm screenshotting right now. So give me a second here. I gotta finish this screenshot. Oh, how did I miss? Oh, well, it's 100 Thieves and Immortals. Nobody cares about those two teams.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Sven said it. Oh, actually, hold on. I'm gonna reserve that because honestly, I haven't started my stream yet. So
You're fine.
hold on.
You're fine.
Stream. Start stream.
Yeah, I'm already live, bro. So that's what we're talking.
Yeah. No. I'm checking it. I'm checking to see if checking to see. Okay, we are good. We are good now.
Nice.
We are good. I am now live.
Okay,
it's a good thing.
That is good.
Yeah, very good thing. Yeah, it is.
I want to get like a
hell yeah.
I want to get a nice layout where I can capture his camera, so like you guys could see both of us at the same time in the future. But like, I'm not that good.
Hell yeah! You came prepared this week. See, I've been busy.
I don't have the layout yet.
And I also have a.
I would like to do that for a layout soon, but I don't know how to get that just yet. Is what I'm saying.
Well, I actually I do, but again, I transitioned into a new job this past week after we did our podcast last week. So kind of settling into the new job, plus for the icebreaker before we start talking about what's on my screen and also in my notes. But before then, we got to do it. We got to do introductions because it's only proper. Because just like an LCS broadcast, I am Requip Star. Thank you guys for joining us this evening. I am with Sen TSSENN at twitch.tv/TSENN. You can watch either his stream, my stream, or both at the same time. Thank you for joining us this evening. Hopefully, you guys are doing very well in the past week. Said actually before I turn on my stream, yes, we do have lots to talk about, and particularly in the LCK. Like, we're gonna spend like a good chunk of tonight just talking about the LCK, and in particular one team that is not on my screen because they don't play on Wednesday. I only brought up like the LCK schedule and the matches you kind of need to know for Wednesday. The only match I'm missing is 100 Thieves versus Immortals, but who cares about those two teams? So here we are. Before we start, Sin, I actually have an announcement I want to make. Because this actually, along with transitioning into the new job, I have also been working on a little something. And this is pretty big because if we go back to last week, if you remember, I was talking about how it's my dream to work for Riot Studios, for Riot Gaming in some capacity. And the biggest problem I've been having is in what capacity? That's always been my Achilles heel. Because to me, all I care about is just, or at least what I thought at first, like all I really cared about is like I just want to work for the company. But then if you really like think about it, I have to be like I have to like do something more specific. Like I have to be like, if I'm gonna work at Riot Studios, if I'm gonna work on like League of Legends or Valorant or whatever Riot's got going on, I have to say, I'm coming to work for you, and I'm being hypothetical. Like I'm coming to work for you, and this is what I specialize in, and that's been my biggest problem. So, with that being said, I want to announce that as of last week, I have re-enrolled in school once again for the third time. This time, though, I'm going to tech school and I have enrolled in the engineering certification program with the objective of being a sound designer slash engineer.
Oh, that's cool.
So one one day you guys could be playing a video game and like we'll take League of Legends for example because that's like the big talking point tonight as usual. Like you could be like, oh, like you'd be like, oh, this champion's like sound effect when they use like this spell, it's like so cool, or like the like think like Jinx's like super mega death rocket or Lux's like final spark or like the big ultimate, like yeah, when this champion uses that big old and that big 5-on-5 team fight, yeah, like it really pops off. Like I wanna be like the guy, like I don't want to like boast about it, but I want to be the guy that like I would be happy to hear that because I played a role in that. So that is what I'm going back to school for. I want to be able to edit and filter sound effects, be a designer, being able to like set a tone in a particular game that players are playing.
Yeah.
And for me that would be very gratifying. It because years back, a few years ago, this was like 2017. I was like, I want to go back to school. I want to work in the gaming industry. And the past 6 years has been, well, actually good 7 years now. 7 years. It's been, it's been a roller coaster. It's been very up and down. Not really having like a sense of direction per se. I thought like having like getting I have an associate's and a bachelor's degree. I have a bachelor's degree in studio art. I thought that that would be enough uh, until reality kind of slapped me in the face, and I then realized that I kind of need to do more. I have like from what I was told, it was really funny. Like I was sitting down with my academic advisor, and he goes, "It's great that you have the journal education, but what do you got backing it?" I'm like, "What do you mean?"
That's a good question.
And he explains to me like, "Hmm, question,
No, I said that's
question."
a good question that he asked you. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good question. Like, so what substance do you have like to back up your bachelor's? Like, do you have a portfolio? I'm like, well, yeah, I have a portfolio. I have a portfolio of like for my photography and videography. Wrong. So it's like wrong portfolio. I'm like, uh so it's like, so if you want to work in the gaming industry, he was actually a straight shooter. He was like, so if I were to interview you, if I was a representative of a gaming company and I was interviewing you right now, what do you got to show? What do you have to show? What
For
could you show
gaming
me?
skills. What can you show me for gaming
I'm
skill
like,
relations? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. For like, if you were to like, if you were to like do like sound effects or do video or do animation, like what do you got? What do you have to show me? I'm looking at him like if you're watching my stream, I'm kind of like he's like exactly. He just looks at me and he goes exactly. I'm like damn, like this dude gave me a slap of reality. Not that I was like ignorant, like being arrogant or ignorant. It's just that
You never thought about it
nobody has really
in
like
that way.
show
Yeah.
nobody really took the time to actually like guide me into like, be like everyone's suddenly like, oh, you need this. So I just did that. But that's not but then I just got told like you really never needed that to begin with. It's good that you have the education, but you don't have the technical
Prowess.
what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have the technical sound, I don't have the technical backing for that education. So we need to get you there. So I'm like, so I made the decision last week that I'm going back to school to get my engineering certification. Uh, based on what I was told, it's a 1 year. I think it's a 1 year program. So yeah, starting in August, I'm gonna be busting my butt to to get my certification, and hopefully after that, I'll actually have a sound, no pun intended, portfolio to where I could actually go to a recruiter and be like,
Yeah,
for an
congrats,
interview and
man.
be like, here's my portfolio. This is what I've done. You know, so that's the goal. So yeah. So breaking news, I'm going back to school to be an engineer, and it actually kind of sounds cool. And like I said, it feels like there's a sort of like gratification to be like to be able to do this eventually and to say like, yeah, I'm an engineer. Like it sounds cool. Not to sound like childish about it, but I mean like, but there's like a satisfaction. Like I feel strongly about it. Like I feel really strong about like saying like I'm an engineer. I help create the sound designs for the game that you're playing. And for for me to hear one day how players were happy with the sound choices, that would be like my reward. And um the ultimate goal is working for Riot Studios one day. And for me, Sen, and for everyone else who's watching right now or who will be watching later, to me, that would be winning worlds. That would be like the T1 like three-time, like being a three-time world champion, like, or better example, DRX last year, like being a first time world's champion. Like that would be like that feeling I would get if I were able to do that. So awesome stuff. I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna feel weird because I like I did school for so long, and then you're done with it. And you're just like, oh, now I'm completely done with it. I'll never go back to school again. Well, I was wrong. I was wrong. But
Well,
it's gonna feel weird at first because I'm like, oh, I'm back at school again. This is weird. But then I'll remember that, like, no, I'm in this so I can get the certification, so I can actually have a career that I've been looking for so long. As I chug the rest of my smoothie down. Woo! I love fruit smoothies. Especially after a workout, like protein shakes and stuff. There's a place by my gym. I love their protein shakes. Like it's all Star Wars themed too, so it's pretty cool just for the nerd aspect. But yeah, school. Going back. So that was icebreakers. So now, Sen, we can finally move along to I would say, like, we're going to start off with the big talking point. The main topic for what I wanted to talk about
oh, we're
tonight.
going right into it. Oh
And,
man, the meat.
Oh well, yeah, we're starting off like going, we're starting this hard like we're going deep, we're going balls deep. So we are
Getting
going
right into the meat of
right
it. Hell
into
yeah.
yeah, heck yeah. So
I'll give you guys a hint.
LCK.
Looking at this screen right here.
LCK.
Yeah, it involves LCK. You guys looking at the screen. They are still in the top 5, but they're not looking too good right now. That's who we're going to be talking about.
Now on my screen, I don't have the LCK standings. I just have like the schedule for Wednesday because
Yeah.
on my screen there is a couple big matchups that Sen and I will touch up on later.
For sure. But no, what we're going to talk about, they're currently 6-4. So.
But the heart of this is going to be the LCK. It's T1. Like I said, we are going deep into this, and it's mainly going to be about T1 and just
the superstars, the team that everybody knows about. Like, if you're not familiar with League Esports, you've heard of T1 more than likely. You've heard of Faker, the GOAT of T1. Like, if you don't know much about it, like, it's just like.
and if you're watching my stream right now, I'm actually wearing my T1 jersey because this is such a big deal. And let me say this: as far as LCK teams, I am a big T1 fan, and it's not just because of Faker. Probably a lot of people are fans of T1 because of Faker. It's more than that. It's like, to me, like, T1 kind of represents like what C9 is in essence. Not like exactly the same, but just in essence. Like, when you think, like, the first team you think of when you mention a league or mention a region, like, probably a lot of people when you say, like, what's the first team you think of when you say LCS? You either gotta think C9 or TSM.
Mm-hmm.
LCK, the first team you're probably gonna say is T1
or Genji. Like they're
T1 or yeah, it's like T1 and Genji. But I feel like it's going to be more like T1 leaning than Genji.
Oh yeah, like, I mean, you're going to know about T1 more. Like, it's yeah.
Because there's been no other established organization in the LCK that has done more than T1 or formerly known as SKT.
Anybody that
Telecom.
Or people that play the game for fun, be like, name one pro in League of Legends. They'll be like, Faker. Like, that is just like, even if they don't know anything about pros, they know Faker. Like, it's just one of those things. Like,
Faker is definitely like the figurehead. Like, when you think of players, like, name players in esports, like League of Legends in particular. Who's the first player that you're gonna think? Like, the first player that most people are gonna think of is right away is Faker.
Yeah, he's basically
that idol.
In comparison, like, staple. if you're a sports fan of a different sport, like basketball, he's the Michael Jordan, he's the LeBron James of esports, basically. Like, name whatever superstar in your sport of that caliber, and that's Faker. Like, it's just that kind of household name. Uh, if you want to go like YouTube, he's the Mr. Beast of YouTube. It's just like just common names that people know off the top of their head.
And would you look at this past week in the LCK? So, in case if people are not in the know, Faker has been sidelined with an injury. And from my understanding, Sin, his injury has been made more clear, though I kind of feel like it hasn't been like like confirmed. But
No,
apparently it's more of like carpal tunnel with his wrist.
yeah, they're saying carpal
And of
tunnel,
course,
but like at first they were saying it's like a
that's
wrist bothering.
that's
Yeah,
what they're saying. But I mean, that's why I said like it's not truly been confirmed because that's what they're saying.
they're kind of
So
dancing around it.
we
Like
still don't know. We
they're
still don't
dancing
know
around
like
it.
the
Like
extent.
they're dancing around it, and they're not
Yeah,
giving us a
they're
direct
still,
answer. Yeah, it's,
they're never going to. But the point is that Faker has been bothered by injury. T1, like if you remember what we were talking about last week, I said that T1 needs to, at the very least, until they find out more about the extent of Faker's injury, they need to at least have Faker sit out versus DRX, because I figured like when you have players like Owner, Zeus, Guma, and Kiria, would you have like those four core players? Like, I would have expected them to be all right. Like, I wasn't expecting them to beat Genji, which that turned out to be the case. Genji just overwhelmed them.
those four should have been fighting against like
However,
DRX though. Like,
however,
yeah,
I did not expect DRX, the second worst team in the LCK right now, to 2-0 T1.
yeah, like those
And
four should have.
after the Gen G series, now people are starting to talk about just Faker's presence, because without Faker there is no T1.
No,
And
it's
not
like
to discredit Poby. Poby, like, he's 17 and he's a rookie, and he's stepping into the shoes of the greatest esports player of all time. So there's an immense amount of pressure on a 17-year-old kid. That's a lot to ask for, and you're being asked to go up against the Church of Chovy and Peanut and Doran of Gen G. You're asking a lot out of him. And the Gen G series, Poby did look a little bit better. There were signs of the idea that Poby could be like a solid mid laner one day, but not right now. But it's very worrisome when you have a team like DRX, who's basically had a complete roster overhaul and
yeah.
basically had a massive rebuild, and they 2-0'd T1.
Here's the main
What
point
is
about
going
that.
on? I mean,
Here's the main
at
point.
least like T1
this,
should have like taken the
this
series
is
of anything 2-1. Like,
this is the same
let
team.
DRX 2-0
These other four guys made it to the All-Pro team first pick. All four of them, including Faker, all five, like the entire team of T1, made up the entire first core of the All-Pro in LCK, which is unprecedented. Which means these four guys should be able to hold their own, and they got blown out by DRX. Like, just how much of an impact does Faker have on this team? Like,
wait, and that's one of the things that people are talking about. Faker has had a way bigger impact than most people realize. Like, Faker is the shot caller. He is the guy that's going to tell whoever on the team, hey, Zeus, and at the 5-minute mark, you're gonna help Onar do this, or hey, Guma, I'm gonna I'm gonna come down. I'm gonna come down to bot lane. I'm gonna like roam towards the bot lane to make this tower dive with Kyria. So be ready for that at X amount of time. Or at this time, we're taking the Drake fight, or we're setting up for Baron. We're doing this. We're doing that at very specific times. So when you eliminate that, who's
They're
your
like-
shot caller?
Yeah, they're like completely
Like,
lost without him.
Where's the like? Are you like Zeus, Onar, Guma, and Kyria in particular? Like Kyria, like he can't like be like a secondary shot caller. Like he can't be like Kyria should be the one stepping up into the shot calling role because
yeah, but
Kyria
like,
is like one of the better supports in the LCK. Like why
Yeah.
isn't he stepping up to say like, okay, at X time we're gonna take this fight, we're gonna take this objective, we need to set up for this, we need to set up for that. Like, but overall, like those other 4 players, like, are you saying that you guys can't do anything without Faker? Like this roster is going to blow up, regardless of how T1 finishes. And Sen, I'm sure you can agree with me that after this week, I don't know. Like, I have to look. Like, I don't know who T1 plays this week, but sitting at 5th place and you're on the border line with
I can tell you.
missing, making and missing playoffs. I mean, I could look too, but
So, like, on Friday, they play Red
you know
Force, and on Sunday, they play D plus Kia.
yeah, I can tell you right now that with D Plus's roster and D Plus has been on the rise. No, they're not beating D Plus. They might beat Red Force. I say might because after being 2-0'd by DRX, like nothing.
Question mark? Like, yeah, question mark?
Yeah, question mark? Like, even if T1 wins, is it going to be like a 2-1 or is it going to be a 2-0? I mean, this is Red Force. This is the worst team in the LCK. Red Force is the worst.
Tied for the
They're sitting in
worst.
last
Yeah,
place.
like, literally, Breon, Sandbox, and Red Force are all the worst team currently. But, like, yeah.
Well, to give Breon credit real quick, just
Breon's fun to watch.
credit,
Yeah.
like I said last week, they are fun. They are fun to watch. I do enjoy watching Breon games, so I will give them credit. They are a building roster, but they are fun to watch, so I'm going to give them that one. But there's no excuse for being 2-0'd by DRX. Like,
No. Like,
I can understand Gen G, but DRX, no.
they're completely lost without Faker, and, like, they need a backup shot caller that's not stepping up. Like, this is a pro team. That you mean to tell me, like, it was all about, like, okay, I understand they built the team around Faker, but, like, come on. Where's your backup? Like, you gotta...
And Faker wouldn't ask for these guys. Like, I'm pretty sure that Faker has like he's not gonna have the final say, but he's gonna have a say in the roster decisions. Like he's gonna say like, yeah, I want Kyria as a support for this team, or I want Owner in the jungle to be like to have that jungle mid synergy. Like I want to have synergy with Owner. Like I'm pretty sure he's got a say in it. But I worry, Sen. I strongly worry as not just as a T1 fan, but as a fan of the LCK. Like, I'm worried about T1 as a whole because if Faker is out for an extended period of time, which likely that's going to be the case, because if we have to take everything that T1 is saying with a grain of salt, but hypothetically, if they are speaking the truth that it is indeed like it's carpet tunnel, it's it is as bad as they're allegedly saying that it is, there is a good chance that T1 misses Worlds, and if Faker does not come back, like say if T1 does make it to playoffs, like let's say they get that final seed, hypothetically, they get that final seed, and they're in the playoffs, and let's say Faker is like healthy enough to compete again. It's like, well, how healthy is he going to be? Is he actually going to be ready for playoff games? Is he going to be ready to try to carry T1 into a spot where they can get to Worlds? And again, LCK gets 4 spots. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's, if we're looking at it, I mean, there's a 25% chance. But being that there's more than 4 teams competing for it, it's less than that. It's like, 10, 15-ish percent.
Well, yeah,
So
like you're talking about the
I mean,
playoffs, and
Is
like,
Faker really going to be? Is Faker really going to be ready if if he even comes back? Because it look from the sounds of it, he's not going to be competing again for the rest of the split before
yeah. So like, if
playoffs.
he's back
From
in
the
the
sounds of it.
playoffs, like, are they even going to be in playoff contention at that point? Like,
Well, not if they keep dropping 2-0s against like the bottom
well,
tier
yeah, like
teams.
because the other thing
Like
is like,
imagine.
has T1 given up with the loss of Faker? Like, the head coach even stepped down.
Yeah, and about Bengi, because Bengi he did play for T1, and as a player he was good. He was good. Um, but I don't know his reasons. Of course, T1's never gonna say. He's never gonna say like why he just decided up and leave. But it could not have come at a worse time. Like as soon as
Yeah,
Faker is benched because of injury, he
it's like
then
it
all of a sudden goes like, "I've had enough of this." It's like
is the worst possible timing. It's like it.
the timing of it kind of just makes you scratch your head. Like, well, wait a minute, isn't that like the
It's like he's
worst
given up.
time to
Yeah.
leave the
It's like
team?
he's given up. And so it's like, oh, okay. Has T1 thrown in the towel with Bengi stepping down? Like, it raises more red flags in my book as a fan. It's like, is T1 even going to try to go into the playoffs at this point with all this stuff? Uh, like, are we not going to see T1 at Worlds? Like, that's a huge thing. Like,
It's weird. Like, try to remember what year it was. Was it? I think it was like 2019. It's like 2019, 2020. So like, it was recent. It was more recent. There was a year that there was a recent year that T1 wasn't at Worlds,
yeah,
and it just felt so weird.
it felt wrong
It felt
without
so weird. Like,
him.
yeah. I mean, imagine this, like a world, no pun intended, like a world where Faker wasn't at Worlds. I mean, just last year, like I saw the man. I saw the man in Atlanta. Like he was just at Worlds. And to think like not even a year later, I mean, we're talking about him not even like playing at Worlds in his home country.
It's like,
Like
yeah,
it's like since it's in Korea this year, it's like you would think like, okay, I mean it's pretty much safe to say that Gen G's gonna be there at this point, like Gen G and KT Roaster. Like, okay, yeah, Gen G, we got Pina coming back, Doran's coming back, the
you
Church
got
of Chovi's
Chovy.
gonna hopefully,
You got
rise up and
Chovy.
carry Gen G into the finals, and
Oh yeah,
we're expecting Gen G to be there. We're
KT
expecting Gen G to,
Rolster is probably going to be
be.
there as well. They're looking like they were in the spring, like so.
Oh yeah, I saw. Yeah, we're gonna get to Genji versus KT Roaster. Not for their matchup in a couple weeks, but just more of like as it stands right now. Like who do you have more confidence in right now to take home the LCK Summer Split Championship? Is it going to be Genji on a three-peat, or is it going to be KT Roaster usurping the Church of Chovy and the rest of Gen G and be the top representative for the home region for Worlds this year.
Yeah, for sure.
But they without team like
And I see D
it
plus
just is
Kia.
strange.
I see
Like
D plus
T1 is
Kia as
one
like,
thing, but Faker,
I see
but
D plus Kia
Faker,
making it as
like
well. That's
Faker.
like a third solid one. But then like you're looking at that fourth spot. Can they beat out Hanwha Life at this point if Faker's not going to be back? Like it's, or like some of these other teams that are breathing at their necks.
As it stands right now, like Hanwha Life Esports has been looking really good.
Yes,
And as I said last week, Zeka to me is kind of like a mini Faker
he is.
because the way and I can attest to this because I watched Zeka at Worlds, so I've seen him play not just on a on a past stream, but I actually saw him play in person, and Zeka is dominant. and he's the most standout player on Hanwha. So being on a new team and being like the face of Hanwha Live Esports, like he's got a lot to prove, and he could do it if he could take Hanwha Live Esports to Worlds in whatever seed. Like if Hanwha Life does go to Worlds, it's probably going to be like third or fourth because I mean, as it stands right now, if the LCK finished right now, T1 would not be going. It would be Genji as your top seed, then KT Rolster, D plus as your third seed, and then your fourth seed would be Hanwha Life. And to me, like just those 4 teams alone, like that's a pretty strong. Those are pretty strong teams to be sending to Worlds, in and of itself. But again, it just feels so weird to be sitting here and talking about the prospect of T1 not being there. And I really don't think like someone like Faker, like the kind of legacy that he's had, I mean, I don't think he I hope his injury is not as severe as some people are making it out to be, because
sure.
like he's had a dynasty, a legacy. And I don't think he wants to go out by means of having a wrist injury halfway through the summer split. Like I just can't see his legacy just abruptly coming to an end because of injury. And he signed an extension with
Yeah.
T1 until he's 29, and he's 27 now. He's got like 2 years left. So 2025, yeah,
2025.
2025 is going to
Yeah.
be, yeah, 2025 is his last year, but potentially before he has to do mandatory service. And we're not going to see Faker that much longer. I mean,
No.
he's
Like,
27. I mean,
and like the fact that
the
he's still
guy,
around, like he's ancient in Korea, because basically at this point, and like he's still able to roll with him. Like that's
yeah, there's some StarCraft, not to pull away from from League of Legends for for a minute, but there are some professional StarCraft 2 players that are over the age of 30, but I mean it's a completely different game. But they still play at a very top level. So I mean, yeah, there are some really, really good uh you know like LCK and StarCraft 2 players that are home, that that are based out of Korea. But yeah, as far as like League of Legends, like past your prime in esports is like 24, 25 is when you're past your prime, because the good years is like between like 17 to like 23-ish, or give or take, depending on the role. Like if you're like a heavily mechanical player, for like say like jungle mid lane, or like jungle mid lane, because those two positions are usually like the more like mechanical, especially like mid lane, like Faker is. Like he's been playing since he was like, I think professionally, I think it was like 17. So he's been playing for like a decade. Yeah, he did start off at 17, because T1 just announced like, he's been playing League of Legends for a decade. So yeah, he's been playing since 17. So he's been playing for a very, very long time. So yes, in terms of like NFL, like yeah, he's a old veteran. He's an old veteran for sure. But Sen, the big question to you is, really, what are the chances that we are like, how much longer? Like, what are the chances of us like seeing or hearing about Faker having a like unsuspected retirement?
yeah, for sure. Like when,
Like how
like
like
can
how like yeah, when? How the question's to you. Like how long? Like when do you feel like, I mean, I don't think anyone wants to see it. I mean, nobody does, but I mean, it's gonna happen eventually, but not like this. I really hope his legacy doesn't stop with this. I mean,
Yeah, no, I don't want to see it go out like this, like, because, like, if it really is carpal tunnel, like, as a gamer, like, without the proper treatment, and, like, you can only do so much treatments with carpal tunnel, it would be a little bit sad and hard, but, it's like tearing tearing your ACL as, like, an athlete, like, they don't come back the same from that, and it's just, like, it's a scary thing.
for definitely. And I mean, I hope Faker does have a speedy recovery. I really hope he does. I think every esports fan, every League of Legends fan around the world is
Yes,
hoping that he has a fast and speedy recovery.
because, like,
Because let's face it, let's face it. Like, I was watching the LCK broadcasts from this past week, and they miss him. They miss him already.
for sure.
It's not even like it's only been a week. It's only been a week, and like it's not even T1 matches. Like,
He's
Faker
still
is
their
missed.
biggest draw.
Like, they'll even talk about it like when T1's not even playing. Like,
Yeah,
Faker news. Like, Faker is missed. He is heavily missed in the LCK, not only in the LCK but worldwide. Like, just the
well, like,
impact of it all.
oh yeah, but, like, if you're Riot, he is their biggest draw still. So, like, it's like, what do you do without your biggest draw, and the world's not ready to move on from that? Like, it's really hard, and it's a really tough thing.
It is, but fortunately, and we were brushing up on this last week. Like, one of the big differences between the LCK and the LCS is that the LCK does a really good job with, like, building up and hyping up these next big stars.
Oh, for sure.
Such a like Zeka, because when you talk about Hanwha Life Esports, the first person you think of is Zeka, because
Hmm.
not only he a literal world champion, but he is the face. When you talk about D plus, you're talking about Showmaker and Def. First and foremost, those two players, because those two have had stellar careers. Granted, Deft and Showmaker on the other side of things, but they're still the faces of their franchise. And the players that they're both surrounded by are like your next big talents. Genji with Chovy and Peanut and Dorit, but you also have a up and coming bot lane. KT Roaster, same way. You have those seasoned veterans, but you also have players like Aiming, the AD carry, who's up and coming. So they have talents to where they could, hype them up and be the next big stars. So Faker is surely missed. And yes, he is the face of League of Legends, essentially. But again, what the LCK does right is, well, it sucks that we don't have Faker, but look who else that we have. We have Chovy, we have Peanut, we have Keen, we have Aiming, we have Deft. And Deft is a really big draw as well. He's a big fan favorite. Showmaker is too.
Well,
and
I
then
mean,
Zeka is a big draw. Zeka is a big draw too. And again,
there's always Chovy as well. Like, I mean, like, Chovy draws a bunch of headlines. Like, people love him, they hate him, they love to trash him. But the thing is, like, his name is everywhere. So,
well, he didn't get the nickname Church of Chovy for nothing.
well, yeah, but like, I mean, like, people love.
You either stand with him or you're against him.
Oh yeah, they're like,
the Church of Chovy
is Chovy the most selfish player ever? Like, does he farm and help his team? Like, I mean, you know the headlines I'm talking about over the years. Like, it's just like it's the guy.
I'm not worried about
he's definitely established himself. I'm not worried about the LCK.
Oh yeah.
The draw power of Faker is just so huge, and they're missing it because it's like. Hell, it's like John Cena in the WWE at points. Like,
yet, like, no, I can imagine when Faker, when he does retire, and when after he comes back from his mandatory service, I would not be surprised if Faker immediately jumps into like say coaching,
I wouldn't either.
and he's it like he will coach. He probably would be the coach, like he'd be a coach of T1. I wouldn't say head coach right away because being away from for a year and a half, you got to like reestablish like
Yeah.
what what league is like at that time. But
Well, I mean,
as smart as
you gotta
Faker is,
reacquaint
it's not going to
yourself with
take
the
him very long.
patches and everything you missed out on too, because like it's a constantly changing environment. So.
Mhm. So I mean, I think he'll be an assistant coach, um, or he'd be like a positional coach for like T1. But I mean, eventually, like I could see him like taking over the head coaching spot
I do too.
for
I do too.
T1 at someday.
The
At someday,
organization loves him, and
and
they have no plans to let him go. Like Faker is the one solid person on the T1 roster. Like, they're not giving him up.
mhm. And I mean, considering that that Faker has a stake in T1, believe it or not, little fun fact: Faker does have a very small stake. Um, I say very small, but I mean he does have a stake in T1. So the dude is like set for life. It's kind of like Bjorkson having a stake with TSM. Well, Faker's got it with T1. So I mean, Faker is T1 for life, and I can see him coaching at some point, and it more than likely will be with T1. Um, but it's just really strange for us to be discussing like life, esports, League of Legends without Faker. It's like it just feels so strange. Like, I wish we could be talking about like, oh yeah, like Faker and T1 and that Gen G matchup. Like, it was really close. I know Gen G like pulled it out in the end, but I tell you what, both those teams look really strong right now. I mean, that was something we could talk about in spring. Like right now, we're like, we don't know. We don't know like what T1's gonna do from this point. I mean, are they gonna stick with Kobe? Are they gonna look for a free agent? To fill in. I mean, T1's in a really tough spot right now, and if like as a T1 fan, there are two big things. One is the shot calling. Like someone has got to step up and be that shot calling,
Yeah.
have that shot calling capability.
Nobody's
Like
really filled the shoes of
I
that
have
spot, like, at this point. So.
I have I have to imagine it has to be Kyria.
I mean, I would say,
I
like,
feel like it has to be.
isn't, like, if, like, your main shot caller is down, isn't the support usually the shot caller?
Well, there are some teams
Well, like,
that have multiple
especially,
shot
like,
callers at
I
different
guess, like,
stages of the
okay,
game.
hold on. Here's what I understand. Like, early game, your shot caller is probably your mid lane or your jungle because they know what's going on around them with the most action. And then late game, it either switches to your mid lane or your support for your shot caller. That's what I've always understood.
Yes, for those teams that have like multiple shot callers, not just one. Um, I mean, obviously we could tell that Faker has just been like the one and only shot caller for T1. He's the one who's
Oh yeah, but
basically like
his
signaling
insight,
everything.
it just speaks so
But
much
I mean,
about his vision and his insight. Like the fact that he knows all this shit. Like his shots are on point. Like so.
so I mean, at the very least, like someone like either Zeus, particularly owner, because jungles do manipulate the map. So yes,
Oh
junglers
yeah,
would be like good shot callers. So I mean, if anything, like
they need
I would
somebody
hope
to.
that T1 in the past week, hey owner, for the early to mid game, you are the one calling the shots.
Yes.
And then from mid to late, I would ask Kyria,
Yeah.
okay, Kyria, you're gonna take over the shot calling for for the later stages of the game.
Because he's going to be the core of the team
So-
fights. Like, he's going to be in every single team fight, so he's going to know what's going on with, like, team situations and objectives. Like, the jungle early on, okay, owner, you're the eyes early game, because you're going to see what the fuck is going on for us. Carrier, you're late game objectives. Like, you're there for every fight, so fucking help us. Like, but they've got to fill the shoes.
You're the one setting up. You're the one setting up the vision. You're keeping track of the timers.
Yeah.
You're keeping up with, like, okay, Baron's gonna spawn in a minute. Like, where do we need to be? Like, what kind of vision do we need to establish? Do we try to go for a pick? Do we try to force it? Do we try to, like, bait them in and get a fight, or should we bet? That should be Curious job in the late game, but. Shot calling has got to be the number one thing that they have to address. Second thing is the mid lane.
Oh yeah.
Again, Poby, you saw bits of brilliance in Poby for a 17-year-old rookie.
Oh, absolutely.
Filling in for the GOAT.
Oh yeah, but
like
he's also.
It wasn't like it was his fault.
No, it's not. But like, he's also a rookie, and is he ready? Like, that's the thing. Like, is he ready?
Oh, he's not ready. But at this point, it's like, what choice has T1 got? Because are they really gonna find? Are they gonna find, like, some seasoned veteran? Just
this late in the season, like in Korea, really this late, like, you're not gonna find somebody that easily. It's not. No. But like,
it's not like the
it feels bad.
It's not like the NACL.
It feels bad, but it's like
where you have, like.
It feels bad, but it's like taking your kid and be like, you're gonna learn to swim today, and you just throw him in the deep end of the pool.
Yeah, that's not how that works. That is not how that works.
No, but I mean that's kind of the situation that happened.
So we will, but. I think those questions will be answered when T1 plays Red Force later.
Red Force, yeah.
I think that
if they lose the Red Force,
that is when.
If they lose the Red Force, hit the panic button. Hit the panic button if they lose the Red Force. Like, I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, I would be looking for that panic button too. Even if, like, if it's a 2-0, I would be hard pressing that panic.
Oh yeah, like God.
But I would be like, okay, it's like I'd be like 2-0 Red Force, 2-0 Red Force. We gotta start hitting the panic button, like that. That would be my reaction.
I would be breaking that button, bro. If they were
2-1, I'd be like, why? If you're watching my stream, like, this is the reaction if Red Force 2-1s them. Even if T1 takes the game, I'd be like, I'm still hitting the panic button. 2-0 would be.
Oh man, 2-0 is like, we're hitting DEFCON 5, boys. This is no joke. Like, oh man.
Be like, bam, 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 bam.
Like, it's not as bad. It's not as bad as like.
Bam, 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 bam,
for sure.
Bam, bam.
It's not as bad as, like, if they lose the D+ Kia on Sunday. Like, D+ is a very solid team right now, and with the current struggles of Team 1 dropping a game to them, okay, we're still alive against D+. But if we lose to Red Force, God help us.
Yeah, so the ultimate question that I have on the stream is T1 doomed? That question will be answered
Friday.
On Friday when they play Red Force.
Or
if
like
T1 wins, depending on how they won, we'll see. But if they lose, regardless if it's like a 2-0 or 2-1, yeah, I would say T1 is doomed. I hate to say it as a T1 fan, but I mean, I'd be saying the same thing if C9 was in that same position.
All right, and as always, we would advise you to watch Devonta that later, unless you really want to watch it live at like 3 or 4 in the morning, which is like when they would be playing for us.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I rather have something called sleep. I'll just
So like that's why we would advise. Yeah,
I will wait until after the sun rises
that's why we would advise. Like
to watch that.
just watch the VOD later. Don't look up anything. Don't look up spoilers. Check out the VOD if you really want to. But like, if
Yeah,
you
just
value
yeah,
your sleep,
just
yeah.
the VOD's a lot better anyway because like oh really like the first 30 minutes of this YouTube video is just the intro music skip.
Yeah,
Okay, now we
exactly.
have another 30 minutes in between the first match and second match skip.
Exactly.
You
Like
know,
there's so many
like
segments in between that you don't think about, like when it's live, that you have to
oh
sit
the
through.
amount of time the amount of time that you save it's amazing. Like uh
Unless like I
that's the
mean
benefit
like
of watching a VOD.
I'm like Requip. I do enjoy the in between segments sometimes because they're hilarious to watch, but like sometimes I just want to see the action. So
Right. The only time that I'll watch like the in between like content is for the like LCK would be the I think they call it the LCK boardroom, which is like you have like a representative like pretend like representing each region, and they talk about like, oh, what's going on in this region? Who should we worry about? What player? What team? Should we really worry about this region? It's funnier to it's a lot funnier to like watch it than me trying to explain it. But it's like they're like secret agents or like okay, the secret meeting. Like okay, what's going on? What spy intel have you brought for us from the LPL or the LEC? Today, and they act like they're secret agents or
it's
something.
just good
It's fun. It's
fun,
funny to
man.
watch.
Yeah,
Actually makes me laugh. It
it's
makes me
good
laugh. It's
fun,
enjoyable
dude. So
content.
like,
Like
yeah.
I hate to say this, but I mean, like the LCS is starting to. They're
they
trying to
they've
replicate what the
they're working on their
LCK broadcasts
programming. They're
do.
working on the entertainment. Some of the LCS segments
They
are
are.
pretty funny.
They
Like
are, but
like in the
they
spring,
are, but I'd rather watch the LCK.
like in the spring, the tracking down double-ish segment was hilarious to me. Like that shit was funny.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll give Mark Z credit where credit is due. Like yeah, like catching up with Double Lift, and then like the most recent episode, like ah fuck that guy. Let's bring in somebody else. Oh hey Sven, like
Yeah, yeah.
catching up with Sven, like okay that 20-second like Double Lift's trash. Like okay, let's bring in Sven. He seems to be cooler, and then Sven takes over
Oh, oh no, I'm
the
just saying,
LCS
like,
lounge, and he
that's like
brings the entire team of
from a
Cloud9. Like
creative angle, though. Like that shit
and
is hilarious. Yeah,
you have Punch going like, I love playing Renekton.
yeah.
I just love playing Renekton.
Oh,
I
dude,
love
Fudge
playing
is
Renekton so
hilarious,
much I
man.
never want to play him again.
But no, I just
He's like, shut the fuck up.
that's what I love. This is where that's what I'm enjoying about SCS. It's like they're bringing out the personality of some of their people, and you're actually able to get familiar with the personalities, and like the fact that they're showcasing that a little better. Will it help them out? I think so. Like that's what I'm trying to get at. Like the fact that they're taking this new angle to showcase the people and let you connect with them on a more personal level. Like that's good. Like
Yeah, and well, I mean, Captain Flowers can't do everything. Like
No.
he can't be like he can't cast the games and all of a sudden like in between games like okay I gotta run to the LCS broadcast room and like now I gotta do this segment like he can't do everything.
No, he
Not to
can't.
take everyone else away, but I do miss I do miss Dash. I miss
Dude,
Dash.
Dash was amazing. I love Dash.
He was I felt like he was like the guy that was like the figurehead for the LCS lounge and like LCS breakdown and everything. Like he was like the guy.
Everybody
And
I know that
I
watches
really
LCS with me.
I really feel like
Yeah.
it was a bad decision. In my opinion, I think and I think everybody would agree that it was a really bad decision on Riot's part to just kind of say like okay it's time to move on, unless it was like I know
Yeah.
Dash wants to do his own thing and he seems to be happy, but
But no, it's like
um
every LCS fan I know, Requip, Like, and I've watched with a bunch of friends and stuff. They all say the same thing. They're like, I fucking miss Dash. Dash was the best person. I'm like, thank you. They're like, no
Yeah,
offense to these
and
other guys, but they just don't have that Dash energy. Like, and that's kind of what it
yeah,
is. Yeah.
Dash was unique. Dash was really unique, and he really fit like the molding, like
Yeah.
for the LCS broadcast. Like he it felt like it just doesn't feel the same without
Oh yeah, no,
Dash.
but I mean, it's the best summary of it, though. No offense to the other guys, but they just aren't Dash. Like, I mean, it just kind of nails
No,
it. That sentence right there.
no, and I stand by what I said last week. Like all of them have been my inspiration to work for Riot Studios one day, and I mean, I told you, I remember the story last week. I was like, I met La Tigress, and let me
Yeah.
tell you, like, she's like one of the coolest people I have ever had a 5 minute conversation with, and like, she was energetic, she was positive,
Oh yeah.
like, she was like, she was really, really cool. I mean, that's a, a really good personality. Like, she's a great personality. She's she fits like the LCS like broadcast team, like as far as like the in between segments, and
Absolutely.
her and Emily. Yeah, her and Emily, like I I can appreciate as a fellow artist, like Emily's
Emily's
like
artist.
storytelling with her art.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
Emily.
mean,
Yeah,
like, I love her
Emily's an
art.
artist. Like
I love
as
her
a fellow
artist.
artist, like I can appreciate that
I
because
love
her
the
art's
artist
really
side of
good.
her, but like, as like the entertaining side, I don't quite vibe with her. I mean, I love her art though. Like, it's just that's how I feel about Emily.
She is informative though. Like
Yes.
both her and La Tigress are they are very informative. Like they know their stuff. So I respect that.
Okay.
But as far as like overall, like there's just some people that it just kind of seems like a little empty without such a person. Like without Dash, it's like I wish Dash was back.
Oh yeah, I mean, Captain Flowers is
And
trying.
I
Like, at
like
least we still
I
have, at least we still have Flowers. He's trying, but like, it's just like, oh man.
oh he's Flowers is amazing. Like LCS casting would not be the same without Flowers. Like Flowers
No,
is like the man. He is the guy. I
he
hope
is.
he's there for like I hope he stays there for like eternity. At least no, I mean like the thing how he casts the 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 games and just the things he just says, like I mean none of it is planned obviously, but just the
No,
things he just says like spontaneous. It's just so funny.
it is,
Like
dude.
the
It
guy
is.
is great. Like you're not gonna find another
No,
Flowers.
absolutely.
Like there's one and only Flowers. Like
No,
you're
absolutely.
never gonna find you're not gonna find like a second like, oh, this guy's kind of like Flowers. And like, no, you're never gonna find anywhere near close to him ever again. Like
And
this is your like Riot, you better like sign his contracts, like it needs to be like lifetime contracts, and he needs to be like winning like esports broadcaster of the year like every single year, because I would love to see anyone else that can top him.
exactly.
There's no other esports caster that's gonna top him.
No.
I don't care if someone else wins the award. I'm like I'd be like, so explain to me how that person got the award over Flowers. Like, what did he do? What did he do to one up Flowers? Because nobody one ups Flowers. Like Flowers is like the best
Like,
esports caster. Like
even like even
Flowers is the faker.
bro,
Flowers is the faker of
to
esports
prove your
broadcasting.
point, like even at the MSI, look at how many of the common broadcasters enjoyed like when Flowers was with them on commentary. They enjoyed working with Flowers the most. Like it was, there was no contest about it. Like and even the international guys, you could just tell by the energy. They're like, okay, like they love working with Flowers internationally.
Mm. And I mean, considering like he's casted like several like Worlds finals, especially
Yeah.
last year. Like, I mean, that was like one thing off his bucket list that he wanted to achieve was to cast Worlds finals in NA, and he's done that.
Oh yeah. But
Um,
you can tell like the other guys in the other leagues, like the ones that normally commentate and cast, they love it when like at the MSI when they mix up the casters from each region. Like they love working with him, and you can just tell by the energy.
there's no one else out there that can match Flowers' energy. Like, uh, there's just no one else. Like you could try to research any other esports caster. Like you're not gonna find it. You're just gonna find it. I know like I know some people that would be runner ups, but they're never gonna surpass Flowers when it comes
No.
to just that energy and that charisma that he brings.
No,
Like
exactly.
you're
Exactly.
absolutely not.
And I want to give my
So
boy Requip here some quick props because we're about an hour into the show and he's talking about the LCS, and this is a great talking point. Like, I mean, starting with the casters, like, obviously, we're going to get into the LCS a little bit here soon. We got some shit to talk about.
yeah, and I wanted to talk about the LCS broadcasting team because, like I said, I appreciate everything that you do.
Oh, no, it's fine. You got to
They're
give
my
respect where
inspiration.
it's due, man. You got to give respect where it's due. Like, the broadcasters put in a lot of work. You say who can compare
Oh, they
with
do.
Flowers? I can tell you, I'd throw Dash's name in the hat, but like he's no longer there. So, but I would say he was one of the people that worked well with Flowers.
The person that comes to mind when it comes to like being like a runner up or like yeah, Flowers and then everybody else. But you have like Flowers and then there's a StarCraft 2 caster named Artosis.
Oh yeah.
GSL Artosis. And then I forgot his broadcasting partner, but Artosis in particular, um, he would be like that like top three. And as far as like esports broadcasters is concerned, like he'd be in the top three.
I'll tell you
Probably
right now, dude.
second on my list.
I'll tell you right now, dude. My favorite duo was Flowers and Dash, and like I'm gonna miss that.
My favorite LCS like duo when they cast games is Flowers and Kobe. Like Kobe
Kobe
also
is
has
interesting.
that
Yes.
energy. Nowhere. Well, I mean, between Flowers and Kobe, Flowers has more energy than Kobe does, but Kobe is definitely like he gives Flowers a run for for his money because Kobe is like, and there goes the golden guardian. Like Flowers would be like, oh, Guardians
Dude.
took the Baron Flowers.
Oh my god, dude. Speaking of
he,
Kobe, Kobe
he
had a
does good
moment.
job matching the energy.
Speaking of Kobe, like
Yeah.
Kobe had a moment at MSI. He's like, "All right, guys, I've been talking shit against Golden Guardians the entire playoffs, and they keep proving me fucking wrong. So I've got something for you guys." And he pulls out the "fuck you" hat and puts it on. Finally, he's like, "I'm going to stop talking against the Golden Guardians."
Yeah, just like they said in spring. So
Yeah, no,
here's
it was like the very end. Like they kept proving him
the
wrong.
negative comment.
They kept proving him
So
wrong
we just
week
have one
after
thing to say to
week.
you.
So he finally pulled out their merchandise and wore it. He's like, "I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm just."
You. I love that video that Golden Guardians made.
They did, yeah.
It was River sitting in the bathtub with money. He's like, you, and just throws all the $100 bills. Like, oh, I wish I had that much money. I think the cutout of Gory, like playing chess, just moves the pawn piece. I surrender. You. I love that video. I can watch that video over and over again. It's just so dope. It's just so dope.
But no, I mean, like, if you remember, Kobe would talk against him week after week after week. He's like, "I'm not a believer." And they kept proving him wrong, so he finally gave up, and it was just like a hilarious moment.
I mean, I hope that both Flowers and Kobe stay there for a very extended period of time because I feel like Caster games would not be the
Hmm.
same without both of them. Like it just would not. It was just would not be the same.
You know.
Would not be the same. So, oh, and on that note, speaking of the LCS, um, I think this is a good time to transition
Yes.
into the LCS because
Where do we
although
start?
um
There's some definitely
so we're
talking
gonna so
points.
we're gonna so we're gonna so we're just gonna touch up briefly on um so we're actually gonna do this real quick. So we are going to go to I'm gonna bring it up on my screen. For anyone who's watching on my end, you're gonna see this. Um I just brought up the LOL Esports webpage of the standings for the LCS.
Yep, I'm at the same
So
thing.
the so the so a couple of things I want to point out. There's less I want to talk about the LCS this week because I wanted to focus more on like the LCK side of things because T1 it was definitely big news.
Well, yeah, the T1
Um,
thing is huge.
the L-
Like,
the S
yeah,
the LCS. Yep. This past week, the LCS was I felt like it was kind of what was expected as far as like who won their
mostly,
matches, like who like
mostly.
mostly hold on, mostly I say mostly because there are a couple things I wanted to point out.
Yeah, I'm
Last
saying
week,
mostly too.
this
Yeah,
is because if you remember, for those who did watch last week, I
I'm
said
highlighting
that
it with my mouse.
FlyQuest was the team that other teams should start putting asterisks around because of their 3-0. They looked really strong. They look like the FlyQuest of old. I was expecting them to have like a breakout in week 4 and actually contend with the top tier teams.
And it backfired.
And it didn't exactly go to plan because once
No.
again, they get 0-3'd for the week. And as you can see, they're sitting in ninth.
Yeah, so they're 3-9.
So they're sitting in ninth.
So
So
I actually have a good
with 2
question
weeks to
for
go,
Requip here with 2 weeks to go, right?
go ahead with your question. I've been asking you all the questions. Go ahead and
So
lay it
like,
on me. What's your
yeah,
question?
so the FlyQuest 3-9. Obviously they're not a crowd. They're not the FlyQuest of spring. They're not a fan. They're not a favorite. They're not even like on the radar anymore at this point. So I guess the question is, can they pull off the Golden Guardians of Spring and be like the dark horse and make a run and even get into the playoffs at this point? Or are they like going to lose one more game and just be completely out?
In my opinion, and I would have to look at the overall schedule for the next 2 weeks. We're reaching like critical mass as far as like what 8 teams are going and which 2 are out. And FlyQuest is 2 games out of that final playoff seed. 2 games back behind 100 Thieves, as you can see.
Who's also struggling?
Who's also been struggling. So if you're a FlyQuest fan, you better hope that 100 Thieves keeps dropping and you find some way to win some matches.
Like,
Because
yeah, if you're FlyQuest, you hope.
I feel
I think
I
you hope
feel
energy struggles like they have been. TSM, you hope TSM is like they were at the very beginning, instead of like they have been lately. Because TSM coming up to 6-6 when nobody was expecting them to do much, it's kind of like a big thing.
yeah, and being in a 2-way tie with TSM as you stated. Yeah, I don't think anyone is expecting Dignitas to be sitting that high. But going back to FlyQuest, because that's really
Yes,
that's like the big point. I wanted to start by talking to the LCS about.
absolutely. And like,
I feel like
I've got a
they will lose a game, and I think as of now, I think they're going to be the team that misses playoffs.
okay. So like,
Uh,
here's the other question: what is FlyQuest's problem? I don't think it's Vulcan. I think Vulcan is a great fit for Prince, and I think those two are going to mesh well and be fine. I think the problem is somewhere else. Like they're just like not gelling somewhere. Is it the coaching? Like, what is their issue going right now?
I say it's the coaching.
The coaching?
The play.
Yes.
I mean, I say it's the coaching, because as a coach, it is your job to prep the team
Yeah.
for the week.
But some
Now,
of my friends, some of my friends are.
But the coach
Yeah.
has no control over what the players do.
No,
So that is out of the coach's hands.
exactly.
So
But
you can't. So, but however, on the other side of that,
I just want to throw
if the
this.
players if they're not behind what the coach is trying to relay to them, then they're not going to perform as well as people believe that they will. So
No, exactly.
again, it goes back to the coaching.
No,
I say coaching has been
absolutely.
the biggest problem. I do not think, with the talent that FlyQuest has, I don't think it's the
No.
individual players. I don't think it's chemistry. I
don't
think
either.
Vulcan was a great pickup.
And I mean, the reason I mentioned that is some of my friends think Vulcan's the problem. I'm like, I don't think Vulcan's the problem.
I don't think he is either. I don't think it's a chemistry problem. I don't think it's like I don't think it's like, oh, they're not coordinating, because I mean, you saw when they went 3-0, like it was the
Oh,
FlyQuest
yeah.
of old. So it's there.
It's
Like
there.
the FlyQuest of old, it's there. Everything is there.
They
but
just have to
something is
find it.
not working.
They just have to find it, and they're running out of time.
I think it goes to prep work. I think it's the coaching staff. I think coaching has been the biggest problem for FlyQuest. And if
Yeah.
FlyQuest misses playoff, if FlyQuest does miss playoffs, which I think that they will,
There's going to be a roster change, and that's going to be sad.
there might be.
There's going to be
Like,
finger pointing.
I
think they need to make coaching
there is
changes,
gonna be
but
finger
I
pointing,
think
but
they're
I
going to
think
do finger pointing to some of the players instead of just the coaching staff. Like that's what I'm fearing. Like,
nah, I mean, again, you have the talent. You have Vulcan. You have Vikla and Prince.
see,
Two
like,
breakout
here's the thing, like,
players.
FlyQuest's situation is
Speaker
complete.
and Impact are your seasoned veterans along with
Exactly.
Vulcan. I mean, you have everything there.
They
It
do.
is there.
They just need to fire
But
and
it's
click.
coaching.
Yeah,
It's the coaching. It's the coach's job to prep them. But again, if
they're not
the
getting the
team
prep.
is not behind the coaching staff, if the team is not, if they don't buy in into what the coaching staff is telling them, well, then it's the coaching staff's fault.
Exactly.
For
And like
not
it is a coaching
getting
issue.
the
It's like
team to get behind their ideas.
their
So,
situation
I mean,
from
it's a two-way street.
their situation from 100 Thieves is completely different. Like for them, it's not the talent; it's the coaching. For 100 Thieves, they lost two players that was out of their control.
But even for 100 Thieves, it was
Yeah.
okay. The first week we can like exclude because
Oh yeah, no, but like, look.
lane, Quid was having visa issues.
Oh yeah, but no,
Like,
like they were building around like tenacity and their mid laner that retired, one of the best mid laners to be in the NA. Like they lost two huge parts that they weren't planning on. Like that's a hard thing to transition from.
But 100 Thieves still has, again, like FlyQuest, 100 Thieves has the talent. I mean,
Yes.
you have Closer.
They brought
Closer's
back
one of the better
Someday.
junglers out
Like
there.
they have Someday as well. So like like
that and you bring in a highly valued mid laner in Quid because he was highly talked about. And I think Quid, I mean, after an adjustment period, he's
Yeah.
been playing really well overall. I mean, and you also have a standout AD carry in Double Lift.
Exactly.
Whatever your opinions about him are.
But I mean, like,
You know,
that's also the really interesting point. Is Double Lift going to miss playoffs and potentially his first Worlds? Like, what the way things are going?
I do think 100 Thieves will make playoffs.
Is Double Lift on the verge of missing his first Worlds? Like, that's
100 Thieves will make playoffs. I don't think 100 Thieves will be at Worlds.
Yeah. So I mean, is this going to be Double Lift's first miss Worlds? Yeah. This is probably yes.
I probably yes.
FlyQuest.
And as you can see, FlyQuest
treat them like here's what I'm going to say about FlyQuest. Treat them like an NCAA college basketball team in March Madness. They lose one time, they're going home.
that 16 seed like
the 64 team tournament where you lose once and you're gone. Like FlyQuest is in that situation.
Yeah, it's if FlyQuest loses another game, you're already 2 games behind.
Yeah.
So when you have
you need
if FlyQuest plays Energy. If FlyQuest plays Energy next. 100 Thieves plays Immortals. I'm expecting 100 Thieves to beat Immortals. If FlyQuest loses to Energy, FlyQuest is done.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You'll be 3 games behind.
And
you'll be 3 games behind, and you're going
to need a shitload of help. You're going to need a shitload of help, and I don't see that happening. I'm sorry.
No, because Energy has been playing well overall as of late. TSM, Dig, also like Energy, they've been overall.
Yeah, TSM and Dig,
like here or there, but overall, they've been playing really well. They've been surprising people.
TSM at the start, everybody was like,
I don't see a world where FlyQuest makes it. And,
okay, like TSM being right where they are right now.
It's still too early. It's still too early to say like what team is gonna like take what seed, but 100 Thieves will make playoffs.
I think so too. FlyQuest is a big question mark. TSM was predicted to be bottom 2, so the fact that they're up where they are, that's already surprising people with the huge changes they made.
Mm-hmm. And I know you said are a big supporter of Dignitas in particular because
no, I'm not really. I like their mid laner.
You were talking about like Dignitas' success and like, we look at TS. Let's look at TSM and Dignitas because that's the first match. Let's look at that match because on my screen you have TSM versus Dignitas, which is a very big game.
That's a
first game on
momentum. That's a momentum game.
That's a very big matchup and a very key one at that.
It's a momentum game for a team that's deadlocked. Yeah. It's a momentum game for 2 teams that are deadlocked at 6-6. Whoever wins that one is going to have a shitload of momentum going forward. So,
let's look more closely as to why those 2 teams in particular are sitting where they're sitting right now. And you look at like TSM. We'll start with them. TSM had Insanity, subbed him out for Ruby. Then resub Insanity back in, and now look where TSM's sitting.
Yeah.
Now, Dignitas didn't do that with Jensen, but I think it's clear it's good to say it's clear that a big part of Dignitas' success has been the mid lane. Yes. So TSM versus Dignitas, you have Insanity versus Jensen. Those two guys are going to have a big factor in the game on Wednesday. So
here's how I look at Dignitas. Like, Am I a fan of them? Not necessarily. I like them. I see them as a great developmental team. Do I see them as like a top four team? No, I don't see them as a top four. But I see them as a great team for like if you're trying to develop players and get a good slot in the pros. Dignitas is a great fit for those kind of players. Like it's a good way to start somewhere, get their name out there. Like it's a good solid roster. And Jensen's kind of like the backbone of that team right now.
And speaking of backbones of the team, if you're watching this on my stream, you see that the other matchups that I have on my screen, and this is actually another good segue to discuss about another particular topic I wanted to bring up. I wanted to bring up with you. Said, yeah, the second match on Wednesday is another big momentum shift kind of
actually
match.
There's two
EG
matches that are big
versus GG.
There's the second and the fourth
you have
match.
EG versus GG, and then you have C9 versus TL.
The second and the fourth match are huge. Yeah.
Yeah, and the reason the reason why I'm mentioning all three,
yes,
is because
these all will impact the standings. All three of these games will impact the standings.
and not only impact the standings,
but like the second and the fourth one impact the top four as well. So it lets us.
Those are your top four teams right now. Is EG, GG, C9, and TL.
But it lets us see the strength of who the actual top four might be, and like kind of weigh in on who's better than who a little bit more, and get more of a picture based on the way these teams face off.
But let's look at let's also look at the big matchups too, because
that's what I'm looking at. Like that's what I'm talking about.
I think you're gonna have I think you're gonna have a lot to say about this. So I'm gonna bring up a question to you after this. So you have Insanity versus Jensen.
Insanity versus
Jensen.
Then you
have Jojo Pugh. Yeah. Then you have Jojo Pugh
Jojo versus Gory. Yeah.
Versus Gory. And then you have MNS versus the hottest mid laner right now, just out of nowhere in APA.
The hottest upcomer.
So
the
hottest newcomer that the LCS have seen recently. So much so that APA's parents promised that they'll attend a week's like a game, an LCS game at some point. So they got 6 more games to do it. So it's gonna happen. Like. It's APA just has really like stood up.
The guy came out of nowhere.
Mid-lane matchup.
Like the guy literally.
So my question is this: so, what mid lane matchup are you most looking forward to seeing? First off, and why?
Okay.
Out of those 3 games, you can only pick one.
So
the most.
I want to go with JoJo versus Gory.
Okay, why?
So, you have JoJo. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. APA is a hot newcomer. He came out of nowhere. The guy is great. M&S proved himself in the spring. Let me not... And no discredit to Jensen or the Insanity and TSM. But, like, when you're talking about mid laners and excitement, JoJo and Gory bring that next level of excitement right now. Like, when you talk about Golden Guardians, Gory was the missing piece for the Golden Guardians run. He and River together are a beast. And that is why you have Golden Guardians. And this is why nobody's surprised by how well they're performing this year. Because you have Gory and River. And then on the other side, you have JoJo. He struggled in the spring. And he knows he's struggling in the spring. The kid's, 17 going on 18 now? And his mentality is like...
I think... JoJo's a little old. I think he's a little older than.
But JoJo, he's young. He's like 17 or 18. Like,
yeah, he's still young, but he's not. Yeah, I don't think he's not under 18. I think he's like 19.
Okay, but no, like
19, 20-ish.
He's got the mentality. Like even though he's young, he's got this mentality. Like the way I'm playing is not going to be good enough to get the Worlds. So he took Korea. He went to Korea. He went to this boot camp in Korea, and he started playing against all these guys. And he's on record saying, "I'm playing against these Korean guys, and I'm seeing these holes and weaknesses in my game. I've got to step it up if I want to make it to Worlds." Like, that is the mentality of somebody that is dead serious about taking their team places. And Gory likes to put his team on his back. So you're looking at a battle probably two of the best mid laners right now. So,
and I'm glad that you mentioned that, because another thing I want to bring up to you is we're gonna do a little segment of our own like tier mid laners, but we're gonna only pick our top 3 mid laners. So we're gonna get into that. But you bring up some valid points, especially about JoJo, because he's really stepped up his game.
yes.
And as a C9 fan, even I can, like, yes, I am a C9 fan, but I'm more of an LCS fan.
I'm a Team
So,
Liquid fan. I'm an
JoJo
LCS fan. But I think JoJo is the hottest mid laner right now.
JoJo is the best LCS mid laner right now. Like, even I can admit to that. And
Like,
not to take anything away from like Gory or Insanity or MNS or Jensen,
no, he's just. I think he's playing better than
but
them.
JoJo's on a whole nother JoJo's on a whole nother level right now.
Oh yeah, and like his stats show it. Like his gold lead, his early game, like just everything that's important for a mid laner early on, he's blowing them out of the water.
and him and Armeo, they have a really good chemistry together. They really have a good jungle mid synergy.
Yes.
And it shows. It has shown in the games that they've dominated. And I really feel like
it's no accident they're tied with.
If the teams are going the way that they're going right now, like as of right now, I really do feel like the finals is going to be between C9 and EG.
It's no accident that they're tied with C9 for the best record in the LCS. Like, JoJo has proven himself.
Right, but but talking about it last week, it's like, well, EG has shown like some cracks that they have to fill, as far as like some vulnerabilities that C9 pretty much exposed.
Yeah.
But
I think they're starting to find those.
Team Liquid also exposed cracks in C9. So I mean, it's kind of going in a circle. Like, TL beats C9, but C9 beats EG. But and then you have.
But speaking of TL, real quick.
EG beats GG. But EG beats GG, and like
you're going full circle.
It's like going at a. Yeah, it's coming full circle. So to say like who really is the best LCS team right now? I mean, it's hard. A two-way tie.
It's hard.
Yeah. It's hard. So you can't really say like, oh, this team is a standout team. No,
we might not know until the playoffs. Right we might not know until the playoffs with the way these teams are just kind of beating each other.
Yeah.
But
when they start playing best of fives.
Team Liquid was APA the missing piece to put them over the edge to make them a solid top 4. I think he was the answer that they needed.
So what's the quote? What's the quote again? It's hold on, give me a sec, because I want to do this right. If you're gonna do it, you gotta do it right. No, I'm thinking Batman. It's like it's not what they deserve, but the one that they need.
Well, yeah, no, I think APA.
It's not the mid. APA is not the mid laner that they deserve, but it's the one that they need.
Okay, so like
because it's working.
Is APA Team Liquid's Gory? Because like Golden Guardians, as soon as they got Gory, you saw what happened. Like, is that what Team Liquid needed, and it wasn't what they were missing? I think safely that is pretty self-explanatory right now.
and APA is gonna have a really big test.
Has he even died yet? MNS. Has he even died yet?
Because MNS, I don't think he has. So it's going to be a big test against MNS, because MNS is already trash talking to him about like MNS has Gory's number. well, he's already hyping himself up, and then M&S on like I saw this on Twitter. M&S goes like, on Wednesday's gonna be your last day in the LCS. I'm like,
Wow.
I was like, M&S, like,
Holy shit.
you trash talk. You
Oh my
trash
god.
talker.
Oh my god.
M&S literally said like AP is like
the
your
same
last day,
shy
your
dude
last
from the
day's on Wednesday.
spring.
I'm like,
Yeah, the
oh
same
my
shy
God.
dude from the spring, man. The same shy guy from the spring. Don't forget. Like, the man was in tears. Like, remember?
I mean, again, like AP, like even like the LCS broadcast team literally had AP's parents going like, "Hey, we're proud. We're proud of you.
Yes.
We're going to, come watch you live." Like, it was such a touching moment, and
It was.
like you want to see that more often.
You
Why
do.
don't we get
You
that
do.
more often?
But no,
Why?
it's nice to see
Why
M&S.
can't we have more of that?
Bro, I'm glad you said this about M&S.
These
Like,
these young kids, they go to like a completely different part of the world to like
support your
fulfill a
children,
dream,
man.
and it's like
Support your
they have
children's
like these
dreams.
backstories.
Like,
And like some of these kids are like 17, 18 years old. It's like, everything's foreign to them. It's like,
yes.
it's not easy. So like, why can't we have more like,
To any parents watching
more
us out
inclusion?
there, or to any
Why can't
parents
we have more like family inclusion?
to any parents that watch this VOD later or is currently watching right now, support your kids' dreams. Be there for them. That's all I want to say real quick.
Like, don't let your dreams be dreams either. Just do it.
Yeah. Like, believe in yourself, man, but like, support them. Just like that extra support is what they need. Like,
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
like, look at M&S. Like, this kid was shy as hell. He was crying in tears, and like, he's so shaky. But Blabber saw something in him, which is why Cloud9 went with him in the first place, because Blabber interviewed him. And now he's trash talking like the best of them. It's just.
Well, M&S is still shy because he's sitting on the LCS lounge with Sven and Blabber even, and they're just, and M&S is like, he's just like, what he's just like that guy that's just like, I'm just here. Hi guys, like I'm just here.
Well, I mean,
Sven's like, wow.
He's starting to come out of his shell a little bit with the trash talking, though. Like, but no, I mean,
he's a trash. He's a trash talker, but in person, he's still
he's just this meek person in person. It's just so funny.
M&S is not a mean person. He's still shy, like in front
meek,
of the camera, but
meek, like meek. That's what I mean, like shy.
Meek.
That's how.
Oh, meek. Oh, I thought you said mean. I'm like,
no, meek.
He's not that mean.
Like very reserved.
Meek. Okay, M-E-E-K.
Like very reserved.
Meek.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, like very reserved.
Oh, okay. That makes it makes more sense. Okay, I just want to, my ears,
But no, I mean, like, as far as like matchup goes, though, like
what my ears registered, like to my brain, like I thought it was mean.
As far as matchup goes, like,
but yeah, he is meek.
Cloud9 has Golden Guardian's number. Golden Guardians cannot beat Cloud9. M&S has Gory's number. Like, it's funny.
Actually, correction, Golden Guardians did beat C9.
One game. They finally did it once.
Yeah, one game. Yeah, okay, one game, but still. I mean, in
a series, like the playoffs, the finals, the MSI, they can't close them out in a series. They had their number.
Oh, they did. I mean, C9 still C9 still has GG's number.
Yeah, that's what I think. Like the best of fives.
Take them 9 out of.
I don't think Golden Guardians.
C9.
Yeah, I think C9 has Golden Guardians number in the best of fives when everything's on the line.
Yes. I feel like C9 is the best team in the LCS when it comes to best of fives, because their ability to adapt and change the way they play the game,
yes,
in a best of 5 series is really huge going into a big tournament.
Does that have to do with their history though? Because are they the most combat tested team as well? Like when you think about the history of the LCS,
all the reverse sweeps that they did. Oh, absolutely.
Like, I mean, like, when you think about the LCS, when you think about the team the one team that gets to the worlds most consistently, Cloud9, like, they are the most combat tested. Like, you can count on them in the clutch.
Yeah, why do you think there's so many memes about like, oh, C9, brings hopium and copium to worlds because they're like it's like the LCS is like, help me, help me, Cloud9, you're our only hope. It's like
Yeah.
it's like the Star Wars A New Hope scene. It's
They're like the one
help me,
team that
help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, help me, C9, you're our only hope.
they're
You're
the
the
one team
LCS's
that
only
comes
hope.
up in the clutch.
Mm-hmm. Even with a losing record, except for last year, we don't talk about last year.
Oh yeah.
Previous years, like 2 years ago when when it was in Europe, like they had a 2-4 record and they squeaked into quarterfinals. Granted, they got their asses knocked out in quarters,
Yeah,
but
but they still managed to
with a
get out of
losing
the.
record in the groups,
They still
even with
managed
the
to get out of the
losing records
groups.
in groups,
They
beat
got out of the
Rogue.
groups. Like, that's
They
the
beat
big
Rogue. They
thing.
got out of groups. The only team to do it. So from NA. So. Granted, they like I said, they got their asses knocked out in quarters, but still,
Well,
you can
yeah, but
always
like,
count on them to at least make it to quarters.
but no, like for America, them getting out of groups was a huge deal. And
Yeah, I
like,
knew last year C9 was. I
but
knew
no, I
last year
mean, like,
C9 was never going to get out of the group.
if you have must-watch games on your radar before the playoffs, EG versus GG, C9 versus Team Liquid, these are must-watch games, like by far.
Yep.
TSM
Yeah,
versus
FlyQuest and
Dignitas
Energy.
could be a fun game too.
FlyQuest and Energy, you could.
Yeah.
Yeah, FlyQuest and Energy. That's your like. Oh, okay, it's time to take a break. Let's
If
get
you
a let's get a
unless you're a
rematch in this
FlyQuest
tournament.
fan, you need them to be
Unless you're a
energy.
FlyQuest fan.
You need them to be energy.
Yeah, you definitely do.
And 100 Thieves versus Immortals. If 100 Thieves loses this game, like, I have no comment. Like,
Yeah, nobody cares about nobody cares about Immortals. So.
like, no, I'm just saying, like, Immortals has no business winning against that game. Like, I mean, I'm not underestimating Immortals. I'm not undervaluing them, but they're last place for a reason. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as much as I would love to see Immortals be a very competitive team, I mean, they do show.
They have recently.
Of...
Didn't Immortals knock off one of the competitive teams recently? Like.
Well, I mean, they were holding their own against C9 until C9 was like, we're done playing.
I think they beat a competitive team recently. Like, hold on, I'm trying to see. I'm going back a little. Hold on. I'm going back on the schedule a little. This one has me curious.
I think it was like.
I heard that they beat the team.
I think it was like TSM or Dignitas.
Yeah, I heard they beat a team that they had no business beating, dude. So like, okay.
Must have been a top tier. I mean, TSM and Dig are top teams right now. So I mean, well, they're mid-table, but I mean they're above in the table. So
it's okay. I'm going back up. I'll find it. You go.
I'll say since doing the hard research on this one because he really wants to know.
Yeah, it's a curiosity thing more than. Okay, Energy was one of their 2 wins. Okay, that's not really that shocking.
I mean, Energy is nothing but a roller coaster.
But they beat Dignitas early on. That was the thing.
Like, it was Dignitas. Okay, I thought it was either TSM or Dignitas. So
okay, so like the fact that they knocked off Dignitas early on, like okay, like that's like all right.
Well, you beat Energy and Dig. Like.
Yeah, and
like okay.
Energy's a struggling team, but Dignitas, okay, like good job, you guys pulled one.
Well, Energy's looks stronger last week, but yes, they like I said, Energy's been a roller coaster.
It's like they're the same team from the spring. They were a roller coaster in the spring, and they're a roller coaster this time. It's like nothing has changed with those guys. And the funny thing about Energy is like it's the same exact. It's mostly the same team, right? And like the minute you start to doubt them is when they start winning games. It's the weirdest thing.
just when you start to doubt them, they start pulling out wins out of out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it
Okay.
works.
And
That's
then
how it
the other
be.
thing, like, since we're talking about the LCS right now, the 4 roster spots, there's a big thing. NA is not guaranteed 4 spots to Worlds. They have to play against Europe. So the 4th team that finishes in NA is going to go against Europe's 4th team. And the winner of that battle is going to have 4 teams representing in the Worlds this year. So we're actually getting North America versus Europe in a huge matchup early on, which everybody's been chomping at the bit for, because Europe wants to say NA sucks. We're the best region. But if we knock them down to 3
Yeah,
teams, like we got some trash talking we can bring out.
yeah, but at the same time, they could like, oh, congratulations, you got 4 teams. Are any of them going to get out of groups? Like, I
Exactly.
mean,
But I mean, like,
yeah. To be fair, it's like, well, they got a point because
okay, I'm just gonna say this right now.
yeah.
Europeans, mute yourselves for a minute. You're not gonna like this, so like mute the stream. But I don't think Europe is a very strong region this year, and I think the
Oh,
fans of Europe that think they're a strong region this year they got a lot of hopium going on. I think the fans have some blinders going on, but I think Europe is a bottom tier region this year. This year, let me emphasize that.
the face that was the 2 faces I was making, I was doing like the surprise, like like a Home Alone thing, and then the other look was like the Cadro look, where you're just like, excuse me, like that kind of look, like what?
What, you don't?
Said actually said that the LEC is not that strong of a reach.
I don't think they're a strong
Oh
region this year,
man.
bro. They are not showing that they're strong this year, like compared to Korea and
Uh,
China. Like,
well, to be fair, LCK and LPL are always going to be your top 2
oh yes,
strongest
but
regions.
Europe's looking
So,
very vulnerable this year. I think NA can actually knock out Europe this year as well. That's what I'm saying. Like, we didn't
well,
face off
considering
in.
if I remember correctly, the LEC only had 1 team making out of groups last year. So,
Well, yeah, but like
I
the
mean,
LEC.
we'll
Well, here's
see.
the
I
best
mean,
part.
I would love to say that
Here's
the
the
NA
best part.
region outlasted
Okay,
the LEC
here's the best
in
part.
Worlds.
LEC fans say NA sucks. They think they're going to sweep us, right? We never faced off
Right.
one match in the MSI, so I love the fact that Europe and NA has not faced off at all this year yet, because that just builds up the tension even more.
We'll get to find out a little bit later, when we find out later who our 4th seed's going to be, which that is going to be a big talking point.
Yeah.
Probably in the next like week or 2, when we start to like figure out like where teams are going to be seated at, and especially when the teams are seated, like, okay,
Okay.
let's just start, we could start talking about like who's going to end up in what seed, who's gonna represent NA to face the LEC 4th seed, and who's gonna win that. So,
But
um,
like, let me give you guys in Europe a little bit of love. G2 is looking amazing. I'm not gonna undervalue them, but I don't know. Like, they've shown to be shaky here and there. Like, which G2 is going to show up at Worlds? Like those are the kind of questions. But like the same thing can be said in the LCS. Like
that must have been some tough love, because that didn't sound like G2 is amazing, but we got to see what like. That's some
well,
tough
no, because
love.
like
I don't
G2,
know if
they
I
were
could just.
very dominant. Like Europe has this weird format where they play 3 different seasonal splits, right?
Right.
So like G2 was very dominant in one of them, and then like Mad Lion shows up and just starts cleaning house in the second one, and G2 falls off a little bit, and now G2 is back in their form, and this next one and looking unbeatable again, and it's like you got this roller coaster, like they're almost like the LCS in that same thing, like which team is going to show up when it counts.
And I could say like when it comes to like, well, I mean, it's also a good topic of conversation for later about like our LCS teams who are going to be representing us at Worlds,
Yeah.
because depending on like what teams actually get through, we could start like we could start talk about like, well, this team does well with this, but is this the team like
Yes.
that's going to that's going to show like
Because we've seen
GG,
we've seen
like
two different
like
sides
an
of these
MSI, like an
teams.
MSI, like
Yeah.
MSI was a prime example because Golden Guardians, like, are we still going to see the same GG, or are they going to like
Oh, here's
show
another.
like the like a different rendition? No, GG proved everyone wrong again.
Here's another thing.
So
GG last week. GG with 2 games left to go in the week. Last week we're sitting at 8 wins, and as a team history, GG has never done better than 99. Is this the year they break the 99 curse, or are they going to hit 10 wins?
I think with 6 games to go, I think that
because remember they're still at 8 wins.
I don't see them losing 6. I don't see Dignitas losing 6 straight games.
No, I mean Golden Guardians. They were 8-2. Now they're 8-4. Like, are they cursed to be 9-9, or are they breaking that curse? Like, it's kind of funny.
Sorry, I thought we were talking about Dignitas still.
No, Golden Guardians. Their team.
Sorry,
they've never done better than 9-9.
I was looking at the Dignitas.
Yeah.
I was looking at the Dignitas TSM match because that was like the first match. I thought we were talking about Oh yeah, Golden Guardians. No, they'll break it. I can't see Golden Guardians like dropping 6 games in a row. Like it's just
no. I mean, like they need 2 wins. Like, I mean, I think they're finally going to hit 10 wins for the first time as their franchise. Yeah, and I think that's going to be a great moment for them. But it's funny because like I think they were sitting on 8 wins like midweek last week, and they haven't moved from 8 wins. So everyone's like, oh my god, not again.
Well, there's 6 games to go.
Yeah.
Now, if they're still sitting at 8 wins with 2 games to go,
and they wind up 8-8.
I'll start going bam 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 like the panic button. It's the panic button. Bam 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 bam.
If they wind up 8-8, there's going to be a problem. Like,
oh no! Like, how could this happen?
Like they're 8-4. They wind up 8-8. You might be wanting
that'd be sad. That'd be sad.
That's definitely a push the button kind of moment.
Yeah. We call it the T1 panic button, but
if you're FlyQuest,
we'll also use it for.
If you're FlyQuest, that panic button's on. If you're FlyQuest, that button's almost broken at this point, bro. Like.
Especially if they lose especially if they lose 2 games, but especially like if they lose like one more.
If they lose one game, they're going to need some massive help. They're going to need some major upsets happening, which I'm not seeing happening.
Nope, I don't either. I could say that without hesitance. Like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
These teams are playing very consistently and solidly. Like, our top teams have definitely established themselves as the top teams for a reason at this point. Like, sure, they've lost a few weird games here and there, but, like, at this point in, they're battle-tested. They're not going to drop it down the stretch from what it's looking like.
Yeah, I think...
Because, like, Team Liquid... Team Liquid is looking like a beast with APA. Like, I don't think they're going to be dropping any games easily. Golden Guardians, they've got all the pieces they need. Cloud9, this is nothing new for them. They have always been a summer team. If you root against Cloud9 in the summer, like, what the fuck kind of drugs are you on, bro? Like,
I think the way that these teams, especially like the playoff contention teams, the way they've been playing,
yes,
I don't see them like losing games in critical mass. To where,
exactly. I see them. They might drop one or
EG's
two.
on a 4-game losing streak. Like I don't see that happening.
I see them like they might drop one or two, but they're pretty much a lock for the playoffs. That's what I'm going to say.
Oh yeah, EG and C9 are locked in.
I think Team Liquid's locked in at this point too. Like they might
least,
lose.
At least EG and C9 are in the locked in for the first like top 2 seeds.
I think Team Liquid is locked in for sure as well, even at 7-5. Like I mean, I think they might lose one or two more, but they're pretty much going to make it. So.
Well, in the coming after after this week, we'll start to
the picture will be more clear after this week, but I think their magic number is 8 wins at the moment. So I think Team Liquid just needs to win one more to get their spot secured.
Liquid will definitely make it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
As far as like what seed, we'll see.
I think 8 wins. I think with the current record standings, 8 wins is the magic number to get in, though, at the moment.
Well, on the note of the LCS, I want to send the next like 10 minutes. Let's kind of relax and kind of like the cool down. Some League of Legends talks like some your spells are on CD, your ultimates on CD. We'll call this the cool down. So I want to talk about for a few minutes. I'm gonna go back to LCK because there's one thing I wanted to cover real quick, and then we'll sign off with our final subject matter of the night. So back to the LCK. Your top 2 teams is Gen.G and KT Rolster.
Yes, and that's very exciting. They're both exciting teams.
And their next matchup is going to be in a couple weeks from now. So the way those 2 teams have been playing, KT Rolster is still a game behind Gen.G in the standings. So my question to you is that, do you believe that Gen.G is still like your top team, or do you see at some point KT Rolster usurping the kings of the LCK right now?
Okay.
And representing the home region at Worlds as the number 1 seed.
Okay.
And that would be KT Rolster. So who are you taking as of right now? Gen.G or KT Rolster?
So I'm going to start with this. Like, I watched the LCK spring tournament. I watched the KT Rolster T1 game. That game 5 that went 55 minutes, almost an hour from KT and T1. Best fucking game you'll watch all year for this current season of competitive league. Like, that was on par with the DRX T1 finals of the Worlds. Like, let me give KT Rolster credit where it's due. They came firing on all fucking cylinders on that game, and they impressed. So as a fan, I would love to see KT Rolster pulling off and win, but I have to go with somebody that knows the region. I think Gen.G is just looking too solid right now, and like, it's going to take a lot for them to just drop it and be knocked off right now. I know KT Rolster has the ability, they have the excitement, and they can bring it, but Gen.G is like, it's like Cloud9. They're battle tested. They are on very familiar territory. They're the 2-time summer. They're 2-time cup holder right now. They're not going to drop it easily. They're in form. They're in shape. They're looking better than ever. It's going to be hard to go against Gen.G and not pick them from like an analyst perspective. But as a fan perspective, KT Rolster, I'd love to see him win it.
I could respect that, and I agree with that, because Gen.G is, if you're looking at the 2 teams on paper, Gen.G is clearly like the stronger team. However, I think KT Rolster has been long overdue for a LCK title, and I think it would be really cool for KT Rolster to represent the home region as the number 1 seed. To represent the LCK at Worlds. But again, we go back to how stacked Gen.G is as far as like talent, and their ability to play League of Legends right now is just on a whole nother level. I do hope that it's a Genji KT roster finals because it really is going to show like who's the better team, and obviously they do best of fives for their finals as well.
Absolutely.
So I would love, yeah, I would love to see like they
And
do best of threes, but I would absolutely love to see a best of five, and I want to see
yes,
Genji and KT roster
KT roster is a
game
very
five.
exciting. KT roster is a very exciting best of five team to watch by far.
Mhm.
Like
And
they will give you guys a treat if you they get that far. Trust me.
I mean, we're gonna be getting a sneak preview of that matchup in a couple weeks from now, and I want to make a note to talk about that Genji versus KT roster because I for one is going to watch that.
Oh, all means.
Uh,
But like KT, like you're a fan. It's great to see them back in form, because like it's been years since KT roster has been this great, and it's really
mhm,
good to see them back. Like I
mhm,
welcome back KT. That's all I'm gonna say.
mhm. Even if they fall to Genji, even just being like the number two seed, like it yes, it's going to be great to see KT roster like being like a top tier team
They're back.
representing the LCK
Yeah,
and
they're back.
Korea at Worlds, and they're back. Yeah, and they're back, and they're better than ever. So
They struggled
that's
for a few
going to be
years,
really.
and like anybody that's a fan of
Mhm.
KT roster knows they've been struggling for a few years. So like this is very promising to see from your team.
And that's why I made the statement about them being overdue for a championship.
They
So
are. They're
we will
very much.
see.
Yeah.
We will see when that time comes. I do hope for a Genji and KT roster final. So the final subject matter that I do want to cover before we close it out for the night is very briefly.
Okay, before you do that,
I do
I do
believe.
want to make a quick joke comment real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
If T1 loses to Red Force, are they Ethel and are you throwing them off the cliff at that point?
Oh, god damn it. Uh no. No, I can't. No, no, I can't throw them off the cliff. No, wear their jersey for goodness sake. Like, no,
No, I know. I just.
that would be like if I like. Okay, I've been a C9 fan since 2014.
I know.
I've been a true fan, not like one of those bandwagon, like, oh no, the team's losing. Well, I'm gonna go support this team because they've been winning. No,
I'm just being funny.
I've been a true C9 fan even during the time that they were in 10th place. Like with the team, like 10th place, losing every game. Ever since the Cloud9 of old left, there was no direction, no coaching, no nothing. 10th place that same year, they went to Worlds because they brought back High, and that was one amazing. That was the year of the reverse sweeps for them. Like they were down, they were like they ran the gauntlet for that final playoff, not playoff, but that world spot, the third seed.
Yeah.
They reverse swept they reverse swept the first two matches, and then they 3-0'd in the finals for that third playoff, that I keep saying playoff, that third world spot. So yes, even if T1 is struggling, I'm still going to support. Oh, which side is it? The camera views is like, there we go. I am still going to support SK Telecom T1 to this, very day, like even now and forever. No. Nope, T1. Nope. Like, Gen G's undefeated? Oh, I'm going to switch it. No, no, no. I don't do
No,
that.
no, I'm not
No.
talking about
That's
switching. I'm just like making a joke comment. Like,
I know you are,
is
but
T1 season
but
done if they lose to Red Force? That's what I mean by the cliff.
yeah, I know. Well, if Red Force does beat T1, it would be them throwing T1 off the cliff. I would have no responsibility in that
Is
whatsoever.
T1 season done though? Are they even making the playoffs if they lose to a bottom team? Like,
I hate to say it, but I kind of feel like it would be
because
because I think
I don't see them beating D plus right now with their problems, and like that puts them at 6-6, and that opens the door for other teams. Like,
yeah, the teams that are right behind them. Um, so switching right back to the LCS real quick.
yeah,
Let's just do this rapid fire
sure,
real quick. So we were talking about the LCS teams. We were talking about mid laners in particular.
yep.
Uh so your top 3 mid laners right now, Sen. Real quick. I
They're
just want
gonna
to
be
touch up
different than yours. I can
a
tell you
rapid
that right
fire.
now. I have a
Your top 3 mid laners go.
I already know they're different than yours and a little bit of similarity, but top three, JoJo, Gory, and just because of what they're bringing to the table and what they've done for their team, not because of what you expect them to, but where they're sitting right now on the roster, Jensen.
Let's
With the
see.
standing wise, my reason for Jensen over M&S is I think like you expect M&S to be good, so like I don't think he's like ranked worse than Jensen or anything. I just think like Jensen has done so much for his team currently that the reason they're about to be in the playoffs and stuff is because Jensen is playing out of his fucking mind. So
Yeah, no, and that's why that's why I was commenting about like I feel like the reason why Dignitas is, where they're at right now because of, Jensen's improved play. Oh, TSM and Cloud9. So I had somebody ask me like, I'm out of the loop. I only recognize 2 teams, TSM and Cloud9. The rest I've never heard of. Uh well, I mean, if if you don't watch like the LCS as much. Yeah, there have been some team changes. One in particular, CLG is dead. May they rest in peace for
they
energy.
they got bought out by Energy, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. May CLG rest in peace. They will be no more. Unless
they weren't getting sponsor support and they couldn't keep funding the players, so they are Energy now
oh
basically.
yeah, that's a whole another topic for another day about
But like
the financial setting.
TSM might be on the way out because of financial reasons. Like just
They are on their way out.
yeah. So like
No. Reginald
yeah.
already announced saying that no, TSM of League of Legends is no more after
Okay.
this year.
Yeah, so basically yeah, you're not going to recognize you're going to be missing TSM next year too. So I just wanted to point that out real quick to the person that said they recognize now. Yeah.
Would it be funny? Would it be funny if like TSM like dies and then CLG just magically like came back?
No, I
Could
think
you imagine like no.
this is not what you're.
But think about how hysterical it'd be. Like
It
Energy
would be.
bought out CLG, and then CLG comes back and like, haha, CLG versus
This is
Energy.
most likely what's going to happen, and like I know it's not a topic you're planning on, but there's been rumors that Mr. Beast is trying to get an LCS team going, so like he's probably going to replace TSL.
It'd be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what new team replaces TSM.
But like
But
I think
the
he's
one thing
like
that will never die is the TSM
yeah.
chance.
I'm just saying
You'll
he's
always
like
get TSM.
no, those chances will never die, but like I think as far as like a business prospect, he's probably going to have a team in LCS soon, and TSM leaving is probably going to be the opening that he takes. I'm not 100% on that. Don't quote me on it, but this is just what I follow with the news and stuff that I've researched.
And then the question becomes after that is, are they going to continue with the success that TSM is bringing like right now, or is it going to be a mixed bag, or are they going to regress? but that's
Yeah, exactly.
20. That's
That's a
2024.
next year topic.
Yeah, that's like an episode like 70, 80
No,
something.
yeah, like next year, like episode 80 something, like is the new team Immortals.
How okay, on episode
The 100
episode
episode
88.
special.
Yeah, on a 1 hour episode of the podcast. Uh let's talk about how Immortals is now the number one seeded team going into MSI. Like, yeah, something like that.
Because, and let's talk about the team that replaced TSM being the new Immortals on the bottom. Like, no, it's that would be a strange world.
Yeah, that would be. It's Luster. Yeah, I have a
So your
commenter
top three
saying
mid
that
lanes.
that pro gaming. Well, I have a commenter saying that pro gaming isn't captivating enough, which I was gonna. Well, actually, I am gonna say that the LCS has lost a bit of its luster. But I think it's trying to recapture it, but it's going to take some time.
As far as programming, it depends on what region you're watching.
It's better to watch
LCS
LCS
programming, is it as captivating as the other regions? Not really, but are they improving this year? Yes. But if you want a captivating pro game experience, watch Korea games. Like, you want excitement? Watch a Korea game. Like, I mean, like,
those games are as explosive as you're gonna get.
like, yeah. Those are very captivating games, trust me.
That they are. That they are. And
like it's
on that
really
note,
easy to get a bot of those. So like you can skip all the in between bullshit and just see the experience for yourself.
it's better to see than try to explain. Show, don't tell.
Yeah.
So on that note, Sin, what you see on my screen here, let's go ahead and wrap up the tonight's
Oh, you're not going to give your three mid laners? I thought you were doing that real quick.
Oh well, I could do that real quick. So my top three laners is pretty much similar to Sin's. The only thing I'm going to change is instead of Jetson, it's going to be M&S. But in my order, it's going to be JoJo, then M&S, and then Gory as my top three. Hands down JoJo because he's playing on a whole nother level, but M&S has really been stepping it up lately when Fudge has been kind of, slacking up there in that top lane.
But I mean,
he
like,
loves playing Renekton, so nah. So,
but like Cloud9 is where they're expected to be. That's the only reason I'm not counting M&S up there. Like I picked three people I think that are bringing like who's doing the most for their team, and where would they be without them? With those three, like that's what I waited on.
So we actually have Sin, we have I'm waiting on.
Do we have a fan question?
Ooh, actually, yes, we actually have a fan question.
All right, down in front.
Yeah. Well, we'll do that real quick. We actually have for both of us actually. So I'm gonna leave it with you. And then I'll give my input. So, it's a two-parter actually. I just got confirmation.
That's fine.
This is a two-parter. So in your opinion, or both of our opinions, but we'll start with you, Sen. In your opinion, who is the top support or supports? I'm guessing LCS. That's the only thing I know. I don't have confirmation. I don't know if it's like LCS or LCK or worldwide. Maybe once I get that confirmation, but I'm just gonna say LCS. Just to simplify it.
Okay.
Unless in general. Oh, okay. So in general, who is but we're on the LCS. So, okay. So all right. So we're just gonna simplify it and say who is the best support or supports in the LCS, and who is the best support champion right now? So
Okay.
player and champion. Your top choice or choices for each category. Go.
Best support champion. That's oh man. Oh boy.
In your opinion, I mean, it's not like, oh, who do you think is the best?
There's
No,
so
in
many
your
different
opinion,
support champions going on right now with picks. Like, dude.
it's pro play. So think about like all the support champions that are being
Oh, I know.
played in.
I know. For the champion, I'm going to go ahead and throw that one out there real quick. One of the biggest difference makers for a support champion that I've seen in the pros is going to be people that can pull off the off-screen grabs. So, like, you're talking Thresh or Blitzcrank. Those are huge difference makers on support when they're on point. They have to be on point, though. So,
Are you talking about a champion? Are you talking about a champion like a Blitzcrank, a Nautilus, or Thresh that has a hook?
yes, I'm talking. Hook support is probably the best support champion in the pro play, if the pro player is hitting their hooks. Like, I mean, like when you watch Carrier, he's hitting off-screen grabs, like, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, But as far as like the players, you got Sven on Cloud9. You got Huhi on Golden Guardians. And even though he's struggling, I still think he's one of the best supports in the league. Or, I mean, like, I think it's a coaching thing. But Vulcan on FlyQuest.
Respectable answers, and actually, to your like a hook kind of champion, I would say Nautilus is the most played like hook champion right now in pro play. So I would say you would kind of lean towards Nautilus between him, Thresh, and Blitz as a hook champion. You would say?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I've seen Carrier
Okay.
on Thresh do some amazing things, and it's made a huge difference in those games. But I've seen
But
people.
in the LCS, not and the LCS, Nautilus has been like that one
Yeah,
hook
no,
champion.
Nautilus has been like a game changer in the LCS. So, but like again, it's all with the hooks. So, if they're
So
missing, like it's totally like a momentum thing. Like if they're hitting those things, like they're a huge thing for their team. Like it's like the presence. I know a lot of people love their enchanters on support, but I think like the beefy guys that can make grabs are kind of more important on support right now.
okay, and for my answer, as far as champion for LCS, again, it's really tough, because with pro play, it depends on the meta.
It does,
Um,
and it's such a rapid fire thing right now too. Like it's always a constantly changing environment.
but I do have an answer though, and I was thinking about it while you were answering, Sen, and the answer I'm going to go with is Rel. Um, although she's not played as much, but when she is when you talk about team fighting difference makers,
She is great in the.
Rel
She is great in the
Rel's
hands.
kit,
Yeah.
Rel's rework kit is, and I actually play Rel extensively in solo queue now. She's actually becoming like one of my better support champions now. Um, her rework kit, her Q is an automatic stun.
Yep.
Um, she has a knockup with her W. Um, she's tanky. She's tanky as hell.
That's
And
awesome
her
too.
ultimate and her yeah, she's tanky. She like even early game, like I could be up against poke champions and I'll still survive when I go in like 2v2. So or like I'll like actually I was playing games recently on Rel, and here I was getting jumped on like 2v2 or 2v3, and I'm just like walking, still walking away, with like quarter health left. Like she's really good right now, and her ultimate it actually provides not only like a stun, but it actually it's like a magnetic field that actually draws champions in. So not only does she have a knockout, but she also has like her ultimate, like I said, is a magnetic storm
Mm-hmm.
that draws champions to her. So it's a knockup. So she's got two knockups and a stun, and she provides movement speed.
I'm going to say this.
As far as like a tanky utility support,
Yeah.
you can't get any better than
No,
Rel.
I'm going to say this. Like,
As
it depends on your playstyle as a support as well. If you're the kind of person that's aggressive and scrappy, and you like to create plays and feel like you're more of a playmaker kind of support, pick up and learn Rel. She's going to be good in your hands, but it depends on your style of support because like she's more aggressive based than she is like.
oh, I'm
Yeah.
aggro with her. Like when you play Rel, you have to be aggro.
Yeah, if you're
Like I
not
said,
like
like the
if you're not a scrappy and aggressive support, you're not going to do good on Rel. I'm going to tell you that right now.
yeah, I actually feel more comfortable like playing Rel than I am with like say like a Thresh or Nautilus. I think it's because just what her kit offers.
Oh, absolutely.
Because not only like supports like Leona, Nautilus, Thresh, and I'm gonna answer like who I think is the best supporter supports in my opinion are real quick. But would you play like a Leona, Thresh, not Thresh, yeah, Thresh and Nautilus? Would you play those three champions? Because of what their kits do, they're pretty much an all-in kind of champion. So once they go in, they're either gonna walk away with a sliver of health or you're gonna get blown up.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're not gonna survive. But with Rel, yeah, I have two knockups. I have a stun, and I have a spell that gives not only myself movement speed, but anyone I designate movement speed. Oh, and by the way, when I use my W to do the knockup, I could remount with W like a Kled can, and I could just and it also gives me movement speed. So I mean I'm more comfortable like because I hate like going like, okay, I'm Leona, I just EQ'd you, now I get blown up because well I can't do anything else in the fight. No, as Rel, you could still like, okay, I knocked you up and I stunned you. Well, guess what? I can kite back and then wait for my spells to come off of cooldown and then I could just re-engage you. Or I could just soak up all your damage and I'll still survive while you're back in the fountain. So that said, as far as best support, because we actually have another question sent that we have to address real quick.
Okay.
So in my opinion, best supporter supports right now.
And well, you specified it to the LCS. That's why I
yeah,
checked it
LCS.
that.
So, if I had to pick like the best support right now, I I would have to actually say Huhi. Believe it or not.
No, I mean, like it's hard to disagree with Huhi,
like
man.
yeah,
Huhi is just like
Huhi. I would say like not necessarily in this order, but I would definitely pick Huhi first. But after that, Core JJ.
He's also up there. Yes.
Yeah, he's the dude. The dude has got a 200 IQ. I mean, the guy's awesome. Sven, you could put up there too. That would be my top three. Huhi, as in
I'm just giving. Yeah. Huhi on the Golden Guardians. On the Golden Guardians.
Yeah, Huhi. No,
Huhi.
The commenter, wait, who as in WHO and then W
Huhi.
No, yeah, Huhi. I think they were just joking.
Yeah, probably. But like, I'm giving Vulcan credit where it's due. Like he's a
I can't get unlike you, like I can't like I can't I want to give him credit, but at the same time it's like he's on a struggling team I
Well,
mean,
I
he
mean,
is a
like
good
he's on the
support.
back.
Don't get me
He's got
wrong.
bad coaching. He's on a struggling team, but when you're talking about like one of the best supports in North America, you got Vulcan for sure. Like it's
So, uh, one last question, and then we'll wrap it up for the night because it's pushing 1 a.m. in my
yeah.
time zone. So we'll wrap it up with this last question. There's one more question being asked. It's actually a really good question too. I actually like this question. If you could remove 81 thing from League to make it healthier, what would it be, if anything, and why? So you send, we'll have first go.
To make it
If you had,
healthier.
if there, yeah, if you could remove one thing from League of Legends, if anything, to make it a more healthier and positive environment, what would it be and why?
Well, I don't think you need to really necessarily remove something, but if you could add a few things in particular, like making it more difficult for people to chat, I think would definitely help a lot with the environment. Because the problem is the toxicity, and I've gotten to the point where every game I play, I just slash mute all from the start, so I don't even see pings or anything. Because like, I guess people are so toxic and stupid and like solo queue, it's just not even worth it anymore. But like, if you want to chat, it's important to be able to ping and communicate with your people that are actually serious as well. So I wouldn't want to remove the chat, but I would add it like they have to pass a benchmark to be able to chat or something because that would deter the trolling and stuff a little bit. But there's no really easy fix to that at the same time.
Right. I mean, it's kind of hard to say like what you could remove, but I'm also getting an additive to that question. What like as far as like in-game mechanics, like what would you remove, add, or change about like so if you're playing a solo queue match, like is there anything like within the game
So
that
the
you're playing that you
mechanics.
would
Okay.
yeah, would you remove, would you add something, would you change something like in-game mechanics?
I would remove the mechanics to where
Change the
people try to go all in on a level 1 invade. Get rid of these level 1 invade nonsenses because like are
Oh,
they
you don't
fun?
like the level one cheese? That they're
The
fun.
level 1 cheese, are they
If you're
fun?
if you're on the
Yes,
if you're
but
if you're on the good if you're on the right side of it,
are
but if
they
you're on the
fun?
wrong side of
Yes,
it,
but is it the right habits to get into? No. Like if you're trying to take it seriously, you're trying to be competitive, you don't want to do that level 1 cheese. Trust me. You need to be forming better habits. So the I would remove that particularly. Sure, it's fun to cheese, but you're promoting bad habits that people are picking up and thinking, okay, this is what we're going to try this every single game. And then that spreads to other teams and that spreads to other players. And when you're talking about an important part of like development and stuff, and like you said, the healthy environment, like the competitive side, people like climbing up the ladder. You're not climbing the ladder with those habits. It's more of a fine
oh
cheese thing, kind of. Yeah, but like if you're trying to take it seriously, you don't have time for that.
nope, got no time for it. And I guess my answer for in-game mechanics, well, this is a good question for me because here I am, wanting to help, produce video games. So this is actually a really good question for me. Um, So actually, I thought about this. Like, I'm not like 100% sure like how you would do it, but we've all experienced many different types of solo queue shenanigans, and one of the things is that, like, let's say, um, well, actually, hmm, well, actually, no, I'll stick with it. I was actually thinking of like something else, but no, I'll stick with this one because it's more it's just it sounds better. So the thing that I would change is so you're in a solo queue game and you go like say there's an opposing player that is basically like especially in the early game, like just completely like they're up 4 or 5 kills at like around 10 minutes. Like it's just out of control. Like you have a player feeding. So the thing I would change is like depending on like which champion is fed, like especially early on, like with like 4 or 5 kills, they seem like there's no way we're gonna like out damage him, or there's no way to like soak up that damage like so early, like we're so far behind. I think like if someone is that far ahead, especially that early, I feel like the stats of the champion need to be like curved down a bit more to give the other team, like especially if they're like if the players like if the team like feeds like a player, like if they're not like intentionally feeding like grieving, but they're trying, like they're legitimate, like the players like legitimately trying and they keep dying. um I feel like the 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 scale of like the scaling early on for the like that person, like for that champion that's like 4 or 5 kills ahead, it needs to be toned down a bit to give the other team like more of a fair chance to like build their items to combat that particular champion. Or otherwise it's just kind of like, otherwise you're gonna, it kind of ties into that like that toxicity with like, oh, like you're a feeder, you're grieving, you're this, you're that, you're this, and you just like, it just kind of creates a negativity, a negative experience. But if you find a way to like counterbalance that within the game, like to where like you can match like that champion's like strength until you can reach a certain point, and then that champion can start scaling again. That's what I would change. Just kind of make it a like a more level playing field, shall we say?
Yeah, fair enough.
Um,
And to iterate, I'm not talking about like one or two people on the level 1 evade. I'm talking about the entire team, because like that's the cheese I meant. Like I realized I wasn't that specific on it.
no worries. No, like most level 1 cheeses that either I've seen or I myself been a part of has been like the full like, oh, 5v5 like level 1 cheese. I mean, you kind of see it in pro play. So I mean,
Once in a
you
while, like
can't
you don't see it that often in
once
pro
in a
play.
while.
Yeah.
No,
Like I'm
I
talking
mean, I
about,
don't.
like there's people that try to do it every single game because they'll see it once in a while in pro play and they're like, oh, this is how I want to play now. There's a reason they're doing it in pro play. Like they see a lineup that they feel like, hey, maybe if we catch them off guard, we're gonna have momentum. There's a reason for their cheese in pro play. Like people are doing this for no reason. Other, is what my point is. They're doing it because they
Yeah,
think it's
I
fun,
mean,
and that's not the right mindset to be in.
it goes like I so so Golden Guardians decided to pull and I'll finish off this conversation with
Well,
this.
like because like
So Golden Guardians had a Zac support, right? And this kind of goes along with the point that you're making about like players will see like something like happen in pro
yeah,
play and they think that they can imitate it. Well, imagine this. So Golden Guardians had a surprise Zac support pick, right?
yep,
And it didn't work out as
no,
intended. Like it did work.
no,
But imagine this. But imagine this. What if it did?
oh yeah,
Then all of a sudden, as a support main, I would queue up for games, and then all of a sudden, I have to start banning out Zac because I'm seeing it every game, and I'm tired of seeing it every game.
yeah.
So, so
It's
yeah.
it's it's an
But
emulation.
that's usually what happens.
It's an
That's just usually
emulation
what
of
happens. If
behavior. It's an emulation of what you saw on the pros. Yeah. Um,
yeah,
like the thing is, like the reason you see these level 1 cheeses is you gotta realize like the game starts in pros even in the drafts. Like it's a whole mind game even just from their draft picks and the counter picks and the bans. So maybe the draft didn't go the way they wanted, so they're trying a level 1 cheese. Like there's always a reason for what they're doing, because like maybe the draft caught them off guard or something. You don't know that, but that's what I'm saying. You don't want to always repeat everything you see because like, oh, okay, this looks fun. No, don't get into that habit. That's what I'm going to leave it on. Yeah.
And I could understand if like if you're trying to like imitate it, like if you're like say in high tier like diamond or like masters or something like that, like if you're around in that area,
But
like I can understand that. But if you're like
I'm assuming
iron,
most of these
bronze,
people
or
are
even silver,
I'm assuming these
like
people are silver or lower, man. So like if you're in silver, get that shit out of there.
Since I am in since I'm silver, like I do, you
Yeah.
know, I don't see it like every single game. I'll see it like once in a blue moon, but
It's
yeah,
a
I mean, I'm just glad that the Zac support like didn't work out because then otherwise I would start seeing it like regularly, and I'd be like, Zac bad, it's
oh yeah.
busted, it's busted. There's enough
Requip's
champions in
actually
this
made it
game
up
that
there before.
Riot never nerfs. They never touch the champions. They never nerf them, and they're like they're
Oh
still
yeah.
busted. They're like
I'm just gonna say this: Requip's
there's a,
been there before and
like
seen it.
like
Silver
go
and
back to the
below,
button again.
silver and below, I call it the Great Wall. And Requip's gotten in the gold before. Like it's a lot different once you start getting the gold and higher. Like it's a completely different environment, like game wise, and the competitive and ranked, and solo queue even. But like most of the time, and it's unfortunate, you're going to be stuck in silver or less because you gotta get the right cues, or you're going to have to be able to carry your entire team, and it's just like not possible.
Commander says the attitude is the same. I mean, that's just NA solo queue. I mean, NA solo queue. Unless they do a complete overhaul of like how people behave, like on channels and in chats, like
Yeah.
it's never going to change. Like unless they
No.
do a massive overhaul, which they'll never do,
Nope.
because they'll probably feel like they'll look at it and be like, well, it's a waste of time, and it's a waste of time, energy, money. You know, we got better things to do, but it's never going to happen.
Well,
It's
you
never
want to
going to
talk
change.
about like
The attitude is going to be the same no matter what. It's never
you
going
want
to
to
change.
talk about like a weeding or calling process? Solo queue, you get up to gold rank or higher, you do see people playing more sharply, and you see a lot less bullshit. I will tell you that much.
Well, I mean, I have heard horror stories about platinum. Like platinum, like it depends on the person, but I heard like platinum is like it's just like silver, like high silver, like low gold.
Oh
Like
man.
it doesn't really there's really like not much of a difference. Diamond is slightly better than platinum as far as like, you know, the
But
kind of attitudes that you see, but you'll still see it.
only 1%
It's
only 1% of you guys are ever going to get that high. I'm just going to be. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but that's just the
if you're
reality.
it,
Yeah.
the only time you're never going to see it is Grandmasters and Champions Queue, but that's only because, well, it's basically
At,
current LCS pros, former pros, people that are trying to be noticed by other teams.
or they're in the
No, no.
development lab, challengers league kind of deal, kind of stuff like that. It's just yeah. But you making it that
We have
high,
a
like I'm not gonna knock your
well.
dream. I'll say dare to dream, but the odds of you making it that high, like you might get a winning lottery ticket before that happens. Just-
And I have another. Hold on. Actually, there's another commenter that actually commented about Rel, and I I actually my most recent games, like if anyone ever saw like my recent games, like there's a lot of Rel there, because I feel like she is a really strong champion right now. I had a commenter say that they two tricked Bard and Rel all the way to D4 and then just stopped. Um, I would love to know the secret because I've been hard stuck in silver for far too long, and I don't think I'll ever see gold ever again.
Well, I mean,
And
winner's queue is a very rare thing that does exist. It's a little bit of luck. Just, but in the state of things and the way it's constantly changing, you're gonna get hard stuck. You're gonna hit a wall, and there's almost nothing you can do to get past that wall without like things going your way. There's a reason, like they say, like League is a 10,000 plus hour game. Until you put in those 10,000 plus hours, you're not going to see much of anything. Like that's where the pros are at.
Mhm. But I mean, overall though, it's like as a support main, it's I mean, it takes something special to like hard carry yourself to like say from out of elo and like getting into like a higher tier like platinum or even diamond for that matter. A lot of it has to do with like how you play and the fundamentals, like you understanding like if I'm playing this champion, like I know like it gets very technical for there. Like I understand like okay, like let's say like because I've been playing relatively like I could say like yes, I understand her to a degree, but like there have been times like I should have died in like in a team fight or a skirmish or whatever, but yet I still live because I not to like say like I am looking to push the limits. It's just that like I know like I get the feel of like I know when to go in, when to kite back, when to re-engage. Like it gets very like you have to like understand like how your champion works, when to do something, when not to do something, how you should like approach like a dive. Like it gets very technical there. It takes something special and also again for you to understand how it works essentially is in layman's terms like a very basic approach is how it works.
90% of it is learning the mechanics,
Mhm.
mastering the basics, understanding how all the fundamentals work, and then like getting that to the point. And then from there, it's finessing the picks, the counter picks. You need your map awareness up before that as well. And like you're going to have to grind hours upon hours of it. You're going to be stuck with people that aren't trying to work on their mechanics at all. You just have to accept this reality. And you're going to get trolls. That's also the reality. But you have got to like pick. You can't just keep being like, oh, this champ looks fun. I want to play this champ. You have to narrow your pool down, and you got to completely master and understand that. But you also have to know and understand every single other champ that you're going to face against, and that takes time.
Definitely, I agree with that. Like not only like the fundamentals but understanding like when they talk about like map awareness, your timers, the other champions of the game, like their limits, the range, like what their spells can do, how can they affect you, like people like I feel like some people like they just like look at the game as like oh it's just five it's just a simple 5v5 like just like they're just trying to like beat each other up as quickly as possible to take out the other team's base. Like no, it is more technically sound, and it takes a lot of mental work more so than chess does. Like it is more mentally taxing than chess even. Where in chess you have to think like at least two steps ahead. League of Legends, especially if you're a pro player, you have to think 3 4 steps ahead. Like you have to actually take like okay, if this happens at this time, what do we do? Do we go plan A, do we go plan B? If A happens, do we go B or C? Or if B happens, do we go C or D? You see like and that's just for like one little scenario. Like we're not talking about like
It
oh, if this
depends on your
champion does
role
does
too.
this.
Like it
Yeah.
depends on your role too. Like on a pro, like if you're a jungle, an example, you don't just the map awareness is to a whole new level. You gotta know your entire map. You have to know where each and every single one of your other laners are at any given time. You have to know where you start. You have to watch where, like at the pro level, where they show up and the timing of where the bottom lane on enemy shows up, and you're knowing where the enemy jungle is at all times from just from the very start of the gates. It's like you're knowing this, you're tracking all this information just in the jungle. An example, like that's beyond chess in itself. Just mastering jungle. Like people think it's easy and fun, but there's so much more to it on the mental level. Like Quip was saying, like as a support, like you're sitting in lane at first, but everything falls on your shoulders to support as soon as you get to like the teaming phase. Like if you're not doing the right thing as a support and you're not where you need to be, like you're gonna lose the game. Like so each role has a different thing at a different point.
Mm-hmm. And like for me, like I try to be the shot caller of my team. Like I can recognize like situations like especially like in the mid to late game. Actually, funny enough, um I actually do shot calling like in the mid to late. Like what we were talking about like with like what T1 situation needs to be like moving forward. We were talking about like how Kyria needs to be like that voice in the mid to late game. Ironically enough, that's what I try to do, especially in the mid to late game. In the laning phase, I just really worry about like, okay, I need to ward here or I need to ward there. I got to worry about dragon timer. I got to worry about are they gonna? I got to worry about a gank. Are they gonna come to the river? Are they gonna come from the alcove gaming? Are we going to like what's going on just in that lane? Like I'm not worried about like what other influences are going on the other side of the map, but yes, as you just pointed out, like when that transition happens into the mid game where you're no longer like worried about laning, you're worried about like, okay, when's the next big dragon fight? Do we take the skirmish? Do we
Yeah,
worry about Baron? Do we
you're
worry about
suddenly
like
worried about where everybody else is.
pushing this
Yeah.
the second tier tower? Like, yeah. So like I'll recognize like, hey, like I do a lot of pinging and like even like even like private games that I've had the privilege of partaking in. Like in voice comms, like I'm very vocal. But in my solo queue games, I use pings quite often. Like, hey, let's go for this tower. Let's set up vision. Let's do this. Let's do that. I try to do that as often as I can. But like with any other solo queue game, it's just complete chaos, and you're not gonna find like complete team coordination. So, um, but I try to do that as often as I can. So, but on that note, I think.
And I mean, like, we can gladly talk scenarios and stuff on another thing, but we need to wrap it up.
Oh
tonight.
yeah, like yeah, the technical aspects of League of Legends, like that would take like special episode number 2.774, like 2.74.
Like, getting the technical
like,
side can take a whole episode in itself. Like,
yeah, and that one episode would take up like a 12-hour stream. Like, okay, the technical aspects of all the support champions. Like, no, there's like what 100 and
oh yeah, no, it can
like
get very in depth. Like, and I mean, it'll surprise you.
100 something champions. I myself have lost count. I think they're like what 100 and
There's over 160, I believe. It's like up there.
It's like 60 or 70.
Yeah.
Like I know it's up there. It's not. It hasn't pushed 200. Like it's going to eventually, but yeah, that'd be crazy. Like League of Legends has 163.
And
we got confirmation.
163.
We got confirmation. 163.
And mechanically, you have to understand how all 163 of those work to even begin to understand the technical side of things.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Just talking about like support champions, and we're sticking with that because that's what we had a commentator talking about.
Yeah.
the number of support champions, like true support champions. I'm not talking about like taking a Zac supporter. I'm not talking about like I had a game where I had a Gnosis. I was up against a Gnosis support with a Cho'Gath bot. I'm like, oh my god, this lane is cancer. We lost that game, by the way, but it was just nightmare fuel. I'm like, oh my god, can people just play traditional supports? Like, why am I seeing something that should be in the top lane and another? Actually, you know what? That is something that changed. No, if a champion is designated for a particular role, please don't play it in any other lane.
Well, again,
It doesn't make sense.
the reason you saw that Nasus and Cho'Gath is guess what happened in Korea and other pro scenarios. Cho'Gath and Nasus and bot lane and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
again,
I haven't seen that in like it's like one of those once in a blue moon situations.
Oh, I know, but
Like,
again, it happened on the pro stage, so it's emulating what you're saying.
Yeah. What do you mean? Darius support. Oh, good God.
No, I'm just saying, like, they bust out these pocket picks every once in a while, and then like everybody tries to go ham on it for like a couple weeks after they see these pocket picks.
I just had somebody go like, Darius support is totally viable, and this is my response to it. Okay, I just did a facepalm moment. Okay, so with that all said, so
you can say a lot of things are viable, but again, like it depends on where you are at in the game, who you're playing against, what you're playing. Are you playing casual? Are you solo queue? Are you high range solo queue? Where are you at technically? Because it may be viable against dumbasses, but it's not viable at a pro level or against competent people. I hate to word it bluntly, but like it depends on where you're at.
Yeah. Or if it's norms.
Yeah, like normies. Like I said, casual.
Game, like
it's casual normies. Yeah.
I call jungle. I call jungle, and I'm taking Lux into the jungle, and people would go like, "Wait, what?" Like, yeah. What are you gonna?
I joke you not, dude.
It's norms. It's blind norms. Who gives? Who gives it?
Oh, dude. Like, I've had this dude did a Janna jungle with this shit. I'm like, okay, this is done. But it is what it is. Like, you come to accept it. It's norms.
Yeah.
Like that's what you get when you play norms.
Like, yeah, exactly. It's norms. Like who gives a shit?
So again, like it depends on what you're doing.
Like it'd be like, bro, why are you 0-10? It's norms. Like,
yeah.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Report me for feeding 0-10 in a normal blind game? It's like, who really does that? Like
just like
really? Like
just like you can't blame
like the tribunal has that much time to like actually dissect a normal blind game.
Just like you can't. You can't blame people for griefing ARAMs. It's fucking ARAMs. Like,
yeah. The kills don't matter. Just kill the damn structures.
Yeah, it's just like
just kill the damn structures. I don't care if you win.
You try to tell people to
congratulations. Like you just went 40 kills on this one champion in norms. Like
no, I mean I'm talking about it's like it's ARAMs. It's like it's a completely random champ in ARAMs. It's like okay, yeah, you're gonna say they're griefing. Like it's random. Hello.
Yeah. Oh, fun times League of Legends is, and yet I still say it's like my second religion because I will always truly be an LCS and LCK fan. I always will be an esports fan.
For Requip, it's like a family member. He loves it some days, but he hates it other days. But he's still going to embrace it. So.
Yeah. Well. I'm trying to think of a moment. I don't want to waste that much time, but I mean, there are moments where I'm just like, oh my god, like why? Just why? Like I'll just have like a facepalm moment, just like why? But all right. So with all the shenanigans said, let's go ahead and close it out because I actually still have that perfect screenshot on my screen if you're watching my stream. So we have just Wednesday schedule. Again, we don't have the 100 Thieves and Mortals match because nobody cares about those two teams. So we actually have the matchups that we do care about. That's I had it scripted this way. So we have the LCK matches, which is Liv Sandbox and D plus Kia, D plus Kia, and then we also have Red Force facing Gen G. Would you be shocked if Red Force, just like if Gen G just didn't show up that day, just like it's Red Force, we'll just take the day off? Could you imagine if like the worst team in the LCK just like beat the best team in the LCK? Like, could you imagine a world where it's like, wait a minute, if Red Force could beat Gen G, then oh wait, maybe T1 doesn't have like that much of a shot after all. Could you imagine, like, we're talking about like solo queue shenanigans, and it's like, could you imagine like Red Force beating Gen G? Like,
Yeah, no,
like
I mean, like,
you would just have the hope of like, well, if Red Force beats Gen G, then I don't see a world where T1 can beat,
it's like, did
Red
Gen G
Force.
bring in a development team that the game? Like, like what
Yeah,
happened?
that would be like, in order for Red Force to beat Gen G, Gen G would have to be like, yeah, this is our tier 4 team. We're just giving them reps. We're giving all of our players like the day off. So
No, that's
and
what I'm
you know
saying.
what?
Like,
Because well, actually, you know what? It doesn't matter what tier team like Gen G brings, like they'll
it's just
win.
bizarre. It would
It's
be
Gen
bizarre.
G.
Yeah, it would be bizarre. That's
It,
all. Yeah.
yeah, it would be something to behold. But the LCS matches is what we're really gunning for, because we have 3 marquee matchups that I'm pretty sure that the LCS broadcast will spend a lot of time talking about with TSM, Dignitas, EG, and Golden Guardians. Well, I would say nobody cares about FlyQuest, but I mean, if you're a FlyQuest fan, you better bring some hopium with you, because if they lose to NRG, I don't think you guys are going to playoffs.
Their entire season's on the line against Energy, in my opinion. So,
Mm-hmm. And then C9 and Liquid. So, um, for those 3 marquee matchups, Sin, your hot take. Who are you taking for those 3 marquee matchups? This
all
is
right.
your hot take moment.
All right. I'm gonna go with Evil Geniuses over Golden Guardians. I think JoJo's got all the tools he needs. He's the hottest mid lane right now. He's going to be. He's going to be hard to beat, and like, I mean, nothing against Golden Guardians, but like, Evil Geniuses has proven themselves at this point. I want to take Team Liquid over Cloud9. They've beaten them once. APA is a beast right now. I can see them surprising Cloud9 again. And as far as TSM and Dignitas, I'm going to go with Dignitas.
All right. So if the opposite happens on your hot take, that means we can call you out on it next week, right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, but like, the
Okay.
odds of all 3 of those happening oppositely, like, I don't know. I like controversy. Like, I mean, sure, Cloud9's a solid team, but Team Liquid's beaten them already. They can do it again. So,
Well,
like, yeah.
I'll tell you what, because I'll let's see. I won't match you as far as picks, but I will go up against you, because I will pick TSM, Golden Guardians, and C9.
Okay. Wow.
I will. That's my hot take. I will go up against you,
Damn.
and yeah, we will see. We will see. This is just for Wednesday, though, because
Oh, yeah.
because they're the 3 matches we're talking about. So Thursdays and Fridays matches. Let's do those.
What, doing Thursdays as
Um,
well? Okay.
no. We're disregarding.
No, yeah, that's fine.
Oh, my stream was getting a little. So we'll do.
Bro,
So
I
we'll just do
think
Wednesdays. We'll just do Wednesdays, because
I think
that's the day we're
FlyQuest
talking
season
about.
is done if you look at Thursday and Friday anyway. Like, they don't have it any
Uh,
easier.
okay. We gotta. Okay, so we'll close it up with this. So real quick. So, we actually have a commenter who actually gave their own prediction. So, you're gonna love this, Sen. What the commenter gave as far as predictions go. So I picked TSM because right now Insanity is riding hot. and I just don't see Jensen overtaking Insanity. Insanity, he's been like the guy of TSM, and the rest of the team has just been like circling around him. So I think it's gonna be the Insanity show on that day. Golden Guardians I picked because you. No, I'm kidding. Um, no, I picked the Golden Guardians because JoJo has been playing phenomenally, but I think this is the chance that Golden Guardian has to show that they should belong, that they do mean business. And if they want to break the curse, the best way to show that like they're gonna break the curse is against EG. And to show the league that they are not to be trifled with going into playoffs.
Here's the thing.
Beating EG would be like would make a statement.
Okay, here's the thing.
C9's gonna get the revenge against Liquid.
Okay, here's the thing with the Golden Guardians, real quick. They've already shown they belong. They've done the unexpected. They were the dark horse in the spring. They didn't just go to MSI when nobody had them going to MSI. They got out of the groups in MSI. They even took a game against a China team. So Golden Guardians has already proven they belong.
But they never had a title. So if you wanna show that like EG has a title. So
well, yes, but like I'm just saying, you want to talk about merits and you want to show you belong. They already showing they're a contender. They belong, dude. They beat a China team. They took one game on them. What's a better way to show you belong?
But it's like Golden Guardian is like, since EG's like the title holder, like it's like Golden Guardians going for like the United States or the Intercontinental title at this point. Like they want to show like especially the IC title because it's the working horse title. But it's like that. Like they want to take the IC title and then they want that rematch with C9 to take the world title. They want to they're trying to like level themselves up. So I think it would be a good way to knock off EG to show, to reinforce the fact that like, yeah, we're gonna break the curse. We do mean business. We are going to be serious about taking the Summer Split title, and we want to be the #1 seed.
I'm just saying they're not. You can't find a team that's more serious right now. Like, I don't think like EG is a statement game. Like, if they beat EG, yeah, okay, but like they already are serious and a contender. Like, they don't have to prove they're a contender by beating Evil Geniuses. If you don't believe in Golden Guardians at that point, you have not been watching the Golden Guardians.
But it makes a huge difference when you're talking about like being the first or second seed and being like, say, the fourth or fifth seed. Like a bigger statement is made if you finish the season as like #1 or #2 seed compared to like if you finish like 4 or 5 or even like 6 or 7 for that matter.
Would I like to see them beat Evil Geniuses? That's the point
I'm trying to make.
No, I mean, would I love to see them beat EG? Hell yeah, I would love to see them beat EG. But like, I mean, if they don't beat EG, does that mean they're not a contender? No, they're a contender. They're going to be at Worlds. Like, that's pretty much, count on that. Take that one to the bank. They will be at Worlds. They're a contender.
Well, there's still a lot of games to be played, so we'll see. But I mean, it's still a big matchup to watch. But I do wanna point this out because I said I was gonna say it. Because a commenter did give their predictions real quick, and then we'll close it off for the night. So predictions. They actually gave the full set of games predictions. So Zen, the commenter agreed with you on EG. They also agreed with you on Dig. They agreed with me on C9. They actually gave their predictions for the FlyQuest Energy game and the 100 Thieves Immortals game. For funsies, I will say Energy and 100 Thieves. Commenter said that FlyQuest will actually beat Energy, and they also said 100 Thieves will take Immortals. So
If
I'm gonna
100
say that
Thieves loses
you.
to Immortals, like, there's no reason to talk about that. Like, they
Why
have no.
why do you think I said at the very beginning that nobody cares about those two teams? But no, 100 Thieves. Well, I 100 Thieves over Immortals, and
Yeah.
I
No, I mean, like, the reason
I
he
don't
said
know.
that.
I would say Energy, because Energy has been like, they've been playing solid lately. So I mean,
Okay, the
but
reason we deemed a 100 Thieves game as, like, not relevant is 100 Thieves has no business losing to Immortals, is basically our stance on it.
we will see in a couple of days.
And, like, FlyQuest.
Thank you, Rito. Have a good night.
Yeah,
Thank you for watching.
absolutely.
I hope you enjoyed it.
As far as, like,
Um,
FlyQuest, it's a do or die, but, like, even if they beat Energy, they play Evil Geniuses tomorrow, and then they play Team Liquid on
you
Friday.
mean Thursday? Yeah.
Yeah, on Thursday. Yeah. But like then they play the next day Team Liquid. So I think FlyQuest season is over regardless because I do not see them beating Evil Geniuses or Liquid. Like they're just you're asking an impossible from a team that's struggling with like coaching issues.
Yeah, I don't see FlyQuest beating
And
EG.
and they have to win
Um,
these are must win games for FlyQuest. Like all of these games. So like
mhm.
I think their season's
Yeah,
over. Yeah.
they're in must win mode. Like they have to be in must win mode every single game. And yes, you're correct. I I just don't see them like coming back. I mean, they're already down 2 games against 100 Thieves. So
Yeah.
even if they, let's say they do, like, real quick, and then we'll sign off
Yeah.
for the night. So even if FlyQuest does beat Energy, and 100 Thieves wins, well, you're still 2 games down. And yes, you have like basically the toughest schedule for this week,
Yeah.
because I don't see FlyQuest beating EG.
I mean,
And
yeah, sure. Like, I mean, like
TL
even if they lose the EG,
maybe,
like
but
a hundred
I
Thieves
just
is
don't see it.
100 Thieves is playing Cloud Nine, so like that's a wash. Like, so if they lose the
Mhm.
EG, that doesn't change the rankings. So that's 2 out of 6 games that you didn't change the rankings. You're still 2 games behind. And then like just for shits and giggles, you're looking at Friday's game: FlyQuest versus Team Liquid, 100 Thieves versus TSM. That's the one chance to make it jump on 100 Thieves, but again, like, you're asking a lot.
It is a really tough hill to climb. And again, like, I think FlyQuest season, or at
I think
least
it's
this
over.
split, I think that, yeah,
Uh,
it's I think it's going to be over this week. I hate to say it, any FlyQuest fans, we're sorry, but we even if they beat Energy this week, like on Wednesday, like,
they
it's
have
still a tough hill to climb. And
they're facing 2 of the top
I
4 teams afterwards, and that's like a tall ask with their struggles. Like,
we will see, starting Wednesday. But
yeah,
on that note, we got our predictions in, so I think this is a good time to wrap things up here, Sin.
yeah,
I do want to thank you again for joining me once again. I'm
oh, no
glad
problem.
that we're making this an every Monday thing.
I mean,
Um,
I've been enjoying it, so I don't see a problem with it. Thank you for having me.
No, this is really, oh, of course. This has really been enjoyable for me too. I love being able to talk to you and talk to anyone else in chat. Whoever's watching this on Sense channel, thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed Sen's side of things. On my end, I hope that you guys have enjoyed Sen's side as well. Um, it's going to be a very interesting week
Oh, absolutely.
for LCS in particular, LCK as well. And yeah, we're about to get into playoff mode, and next week we're gonna be talking about seeding. We're gonna be talking about
Oh,
like what
absolutely.
teams we think, we
Lots of
feel that are gonna be slotted in what seed,
Lots of impact
potential
games this
matchup.
week, though. Lots of impact
Hmm.
games coming up. So
And that's pretty much what's gonna be talked about next week. So it's all gonna be about playoff seeding and where we feel like where teams are going to go, and maybe some predictions. And there's going to be a lot of playoff talk next week. So I hope you will join us then. Again, if you have not done so, please thanks, Ed, for joining me
No, thank you.
tonight. I do thank you. Please give him a follow at twitch.tv/sen. That's TS.
If you guys are enjoying this, like the best thing you can do is show the love and support. Like we're trying to make this into something. We're gonna work on getting a professional layout going eventually and stuff. Like we're taking this seriously. We hope you're enjoying it because we're enjoying it, and that's all I was gonna say on that real quick.
And I also and I'll close it off with this for realsies. So another announcement I want to make is that we're talking about it, and it's not made official yet, but we're in talks with Sen and I about doing podcasts and putting them up on Spotify. So that might be a thing soon. So not only are we going to be here, but you could also you might also be catching us on Spotify, which that would be pretty cool.
I mean, like we're looking to grow this thing. Like if you guys are enjoying it, give us the feedback, and like it'll help.
Give us the feedback. Give us the follow. We're doing this. We're doing this because we're passionate about. Our craft.
How can we improve? What would you like to see? Like, what would you want us to touch on as a fan of like a podcast, an example? That's my question to you guys for tonight. Like, feel free to bring that to us next week. Leave comments, leave feedback. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. We know it was a while tonight, but the T1 thing was a huge thing to talk about. So
yeah, it was. Yeah, that was essentially like about an hour just talking about T1, just T1. It was that was crazy. Just the events that took place, but we'll see what T1's fate is this week because I think that's going to be determined this week. So until next week, I'm Requipstar. I hope you enjoy this. For all those that have watched tonight, thank you so much. It is very much appreciated. If you are one of the ones that are watching the VOD later, thank you for watching in advance. If you like what you see, please don't hesitate to hit the follow button. Sen as well. Again, twitch.tv/sen at TSENN.
And I'm Sen. Just to put the voice to the name.
Yep. Putting the voice to the name. We're both variety streamers, and we're just trying to produce content. I know Sen's trying to do it more often. I am as well, considering my career path being in gaming. And as I announced earlier in the stream, I'm going back to school to be a sound engineer, and in the hopes of working for Riot Studios one day. That's winning worlds for me. So that's the goal for the next year. Finding a job somewhere thereafter. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. And if you plan on, I don't know, Sen, are you going to be streaming anymore? Because I'm signing off. So are you?
I'm going to be signing off for a bit, like just for the sake of the VOD. I might be back a little later. I have a friend that's wanting to spend a little bit of time with me. Like I can't state the reasons on stream, out of respect to their privacy and stuff. But
of course,
they're going through a rough time, so I might. I might just end it on this segment tonight and change my plans a little bit because, like, be a good friend to your longtime friends. Don't ignore people. Like, Requip and I have known each. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, like, Requip and I have known each other for like 6, almost 7 years now. This is definitely this is the reason why we mesh so well together. But like, value the people that have always had your back and support you, and don't forget them. If they're struggling, change your plans for them. That's all I'm gonna. Like, don't let them feel forgotten about.
And that was the what do you call those segments at the end of shows? Like this was. I'm trying to think of like what shows do like an end of like a moral lesson like it's time to learn Animaniacs.
Yes,
it's time to learn today's lesson from the Wheel of Morality. Yeah. Wheel of Morality. Turn. Tell us the lesson that we should learn.
Yeah.
And that is tonight's lesson. So
Yeah, that's tonight's lesson or take.
lesson number two. Lesson number two. And the moral of today's lesson is
value your friends. Value your friends. Don't take the time for granted. Like, don't be afraid to change your schedule around and your time around, because Dave supported you. What are you gonna do if you take them for granted and lose that support? You're gonna hate yourself. So just don't chance it.
words to go by. Thank you, Sen. Thank you, Sen. Thank you, Sen, so much for tonight. I'm Quip Talks. I'm signing off because it's
Yep.
1:45 where I'm at,
Excellent.
and I have a late night gaming session that I gotta get to. So I'm Quip Talks. I'm signing off. Be good to each other. If
Absolutely.
you like what you see, please give either one of us or both of us a follow. We greatly appreciate it. We'll see you next week for some more LCS, LCK, some playoff talk starting next week. So we hope to see you there.
Because it'll be safe to talk about playoffs at that point. And yep.
Yep. And until then, we'll see you next time. Take care. So long. Good night.
Good night. Have a good one.